right at the line. Good pursuit by that UCLA defense. For Rick Neuheisel, too, against the run, you take a look at this, 97th in college football, trying to stop the run. In the last 2 weeks have not been good at all.
Yeah, to win at this level, you've got to be able to run the ball, obviously, and you have to be able to stop the run. And you're ranked 97th in the country defensively against the run, and you're 115th running the ball on offense.
And we all get tired of hearing coaches say it, but it's absolutely true.
It translates to W's and L's, and I think it's a big reason why UCLA's sitting at 3-4 at this point.
Sean Young in motion. The pitch back to Best, trying to get outside, looking for a block. Nothing but white jerseys, and he's all the way back at the 16. Lost the helmet, lost 4 yards. Tony Dye, strong safety in there among those tackling him.
Personal foul, grasping the helmet opening, number 25 on the defense, half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
Wow.
That's almost as big a mistake as the interception, the ball from Kevin Kraft. UCLA had forced a field goal attempt, a big third down stop, and Lockett gets a piece of the face mask.
And you're right. I mean, you think about that and how things are listed. That is listed basically as a turnover. I mean, it's new life.
It keeps the drive alive, and UCLA not good enough in the talent department to overcome the big mistakes.
1st and goal from just outside the 5. Tafo'u, the fullback, just ahead of Best in the eye. Javed, swarmed under. And he was down before the football came out. Brian Price, the sophomore, was in there almost as he got the handoff, along with Bosworth.
Well, so much of the focus in the Tennessee game and a week ago against Stanford was on the offense. Kevin Kraft, the comeback. The comeback's engineered by the offense, but defensive stops in both of those games were real key. Last week, if this UCLA defense doesn't get a stop on the last drive of the game against Stanford, there's no opportunity for the Bruins to come down and win that game.
The heart of that UCLA defense up front, the tackles, Brian Price and Brigham Harwell. We'll watch that matchup with Alex Mack all day long. Play action, thrown to the end zone, incomplete. Raheem Moore making a nice play as Laurel Cunningham was open for a split second.
Cunningham had Moore to the inside. It was a pretty nice ball from Kevin Riley. Now, this is a difficult catch, but a catch I think that Cunningham feels he should have come up with. And you go back to last week, Terry, Nate Longshore, the starter, played through 3 quarters, and I felt his receivers let him down throughout that game.
Yeah, they counted as they went through the tape at least 12 passes that could have or should have been caught. 3rd and goal. Riley, quick drop, throws high into the end zone, incomplete. So again, the UCLA defense coming up big on 3rd down.
Yeah, that's a big stop by UCLA, especially overcoming the face mask penalty against the strong safety Lockett. Forces a field goal attempt by the Bears.
And the man coming on for the field goal attempt, Giorgio Tavecchio, the freshman from Moraga, California, and originally from Milan, Italy. Came on just before they broke camp. Soccer player, a walk-on. This is from 26 yards, and he was 2 for 3 last week. Tavecchio up. How do you say it?
Bene.
Bene. Tavecchio. It is good. Started by the defense. First play from scrimmage, a nightmare for Kraft and the Bruins. They turn it over, 3 on the board for the Cal Bears. 3-0. Cal on the board first after the interception here at a treeless Memorial Stadium. At least the famous ones are now gone, except for a couple. They lived up there for almost 2 years. Whatever you want to say, they were committed to their cause.
Now, Terry, you know I'm from Oregon, and I miss those trees.
Well, they got a brand new center going in for the athletes. Austin from his own 5 again. Across the 20 and wrapped up at the 23 as we send it back to the studio for an update from Matt Weiner. Matt?
Thanks, and hi, everyone. I'm here all throughout your game to let you know what's happening, beginning with this Taco Bell update. Michigan State out of the top 25 this week after the loss to Ohio State, but bouncing back nicely so far. Brian Hoyer to Blair White, 61 yards in Ann Arbor, and the Spartans have gotten the jump. They lead it 7-0 early.
And that big one in the Big Ten tonight. Penn State at Ohio State. 1st and 10 Bruins. Quick drop, quick throw, and a drop ball. That is, man, it was Dominique Johnson who had to go right through his arms. 7 touchdowns, 8 interceptions for Kraft. And if you just joined us, he had an interception on the first play from scrimmage today.
And you go back to that Tennessee game, the opener, 4 picks in the first half. He had taken care of the ball pretty well. Now, there haven't been, error-free quarters put together. He's had a lot of balls that have been up for grabs that have not been picked off, but done a pretty nice job securing the football since the Tennessee game.
2nd and 10 over the middle. Receiver got tied up with a defender and incomplete. So it brings up 3rd and 10. The offense doing nothing positive, at least so far for UCLA. Impact plays Mike Harris getting a start. First play from scrimmage at right tackle.
The first snap of his career. Nelson Rosario emerging last week as a dominant player as a true freshman on 3 or 4 plays. He has great upside, and then Brigham Harwell, obviously the leader inside. A very talented duo of defensive tackles for the Bruins.
The best by impact players for UCLA. 3rd and 10 out of the shotgun. They're going to whistle it dead with flags before they can get it underway.
It looked like the left guard, Micah Reed, moving early.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 58 on the offense, 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
Well, Micah Kia moves over to the other tackle spot. Mike Harris moves up, and Harris, the 7th first-time starter on that offensive line this year for UCLA, and the 9th different starter overall.
And Jeff Baca, the true freshman, starting left tackle, went down with the hamstring earlier this season. The story coming into this year for the Bruins was the offensive line, and I think it still is.
3rd and long, and down goes Kevin Kraft. Mike Mohammed, who is a backup inside linebacker, but the 2nd leading tackler, gets as much time as anyone. A loss of 7.
A nice job by Bob Gregory, the defensive coordinator for Cal. You got to dial up pressure early. He's brought Warrell Williams. This time it's Mike Mohammed. And just a nice job of testing this UCLA offensive line early.
Sidquan Thompson back deep at his own 40. Aaron Perez, one of the best punters in the Pac-10, was first. This is a low line drive punt. Sideways bounce out of bounds at midfield. Good field position after the punt of just 38 yards from Perez.
ESPN College Football on ABC. Brought to you by Best Buy. You happier. And Nissan. Passionate about performance and proud sponsor of the Heisman Trophy.
Gorgeous area of Northern California here. Berkeley. All the pines and redwoods and the hills here. Great center of counterculture activity, which my partner David Norman firmly embraces.
I embrace it regularly.
1st and 10. Riley throws, got a man who was just tackled before the ball got there. No chance. Cameron Mora, and that was Lockett, who had the face mask on the previous drive. And a senior who's struggling right now.
We talked about the emergence of Cameron Moore, a very talented vertical threat tight end. He's really emerged this year as a playmaker for Cal.
25 on the defense, 15-yard penalty,
Lockett,
1st down.
The strong safety, has really been struggling. Almost lost his job 2 weeks ago after the Oregon game. And picked up his play a week ago against Stanford, but he has been put on alert that if he doesn't continue to play at a high level, he's going to be replaced.
Think about the starting field position for Cal on the first 2 drives, just outside the 40 the first time, and now at midfield there's movement along the offensive line. Mitchell Schwartz.
False start, number 72 on the offense, 5-yard penalty, remains 1st down.
Brian O'Kane and the Pac-10 crew working in Berkeley today.
Boy, you look at the size of some of these kids. Look at Mitchell Schwartz, 6'6", 330-pound redshirt freshman. I guess he's going to eventually grow into his body there, Terry. You know, yeah, you got to get him in the weight room a little bit.
When did it explode? I mean, for so long, if you were an offensive line, a guard, for example, you went 255, 260, and it just made that leap. Quick out, Brian Tucker, man who emerged last week, still on his feet. Finally run out of bounds. Tucker, the junior from Torrance and a transfer from El Camino Community College. Slow start to the season while he adjusted, but last week had 4 catches and a touchdown against Arizona.
A big-time trio of receivers move on. The Bears lose them off the team from a year ago. Deshaun Jackson was the leader, but Brian Tucker has really become an excellent outside threat. Great size, leaping ability, made some big-time plays last week down at Tucson.
Yeah, the leading receivers on the team, Cameron Moore, the tight end, and Javid Best, the tailback. But you talk to the coaches here, and they're feeling pretty good about their wide receivers. The rest of the season and in the future. Flag on the play, perfect strike, but incomplete in the end zone. That was Tucker again out there. Riley put it right on his numbers.
Holding, number 55 on the offense, 10-yard penalty, replay first down.
Jeff Tedford has to be excited about the way that Riley has thrown the ball early. He has put the ball on spots. He has not been a neighborhood thrower. He's been placing the ball on the right spots for his receivers, and that was another brilliant throw down the field on the post route to Tucker.
Riley, a guy who played well in the bowl game last year, and then in spring he won the job. Came in, played pretty well the first couple of games, but then had some accuracy problems starting the first 4. And Longshore took over, started the last 2. Riley designed run to the 26. And a gain of 7. And he gives you that. A little different than Nate Longshore. He'll use his feet to try to beat the defense.
It's been well documented. Riley getting the starting assignment coming into the year over Longshore. Of course, Longshore a multiple-year starter. And the knock on Longshore as we look at the numbers there is that he hasn't won some of the big games over the years, and the last 2 or 3 years here for Cal, especially those games against USC. But Riley, as you said, Terry, gives him that escape element, that ability to exit the pocket, make plays with his feet.
Moore in motion, coming back this way on 2nd and 13. Play fake, looking to get the tight end the ball. One-handed catch, still hauls it in. Now he's scrambled. And back at the 31, falls on top of it.
That was interesting. It looks like they ruled that a fumble. And a pretty good play by Moore to get back and make the recovery.
Initially, it looked like he was down, but by his reaction, getting up and scrambling after the ball, he didn't feel like he was. Coming loose as he hits the turf.
Yeah, I think that might have been a fumble. I think that might have been the right call, and not a very good ball from Riley. Compromise Moore, and you got a snapshot there as we take a look at Nate Longshore. But on that last play, you got a snapshot of the pass catching ability of the tight end.
But then never put it away. Kept it in the one hand.
Yeah, first things first, you got to secure the football after the catch.
So it's 3rd and long. Sort this out.
Prior to the snap, delay of game by the offense, remains 3rd down.
And while we have a moment, a reminder, you've got the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup continuing at Atlanta on ABC. Tomorrow, Jimmy Johnson looking to score his 2nd straight victory, put some distance between himself and Greg Biffle, Jeff Burton, Carl Edwards, and the guys. Coverage beginning with NASCAR Countdown, 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. out here on the West Coast. Mr. Norrie, our resident NASCAR fan and expert.
I'll tell you what, Jimmy Johnson is just too good. Looking for his 3rd consecutive title.
Running away with it at this point. Looking long to the end zone, has a man, but he had to wait for it. Incomplete. And it gave Alteron Werner a chance to recover.
This was a nice play by Werner. When you talk about cornerbacks, you talk about the ability to recover. A nice little burst by Al Werner, the top cornerback for UCLA. Again, Cal looking down the field to Brian Tucker. That ball hung up a bit for Riley.
Could have given him a little more air and a little more lead, but Tucker as well not really making a play on that ball. Austin back at his own 10, awaiting the punt of Brian Anger, who's got a big leg. Not this time. Trying to keep it inside, well, at least keeps it inside the 20. And at about the 17, just an 18-yard punt as it's down there. Just under 6 left in the first. Of Cal here in the general vicinity of Jerry Garcia and the Dead. You had a chance yesterday to take in some of the sights over in San Francisco and some of the music history here.
Rich history. Music in the Bay Area. Neil Young's having his Bridge School concert, the benefit concert that he puts on every year this weekend.
UCLA taking over. They've had 4 offensive plays. It's included an interception, a sack, and 2 incompletions. How about that for a start? Khalil Bell gets the call as they try to keep it on the ground. Not much going on at all. Rick Neuheisel back at his alma mater, taking over on December 29th, 2007. And then a great start with the comeback in that opening game with Tennessee, David.
Yeah, the Tennessee game, obviously a high. BYU game, a train wreck, 59-zip defeat, and UCLA back on track after the 87-yard drive last week, engineered by Kevin Kraft. You know, Terry, with your basketball background, Rick Neuheisel talked to John Wooden, the great UCLA basketball coach, and before the season, and John Wooden said, hey, there's going to be peaks and there's going to be valleys, Rick, and you've got to weather them. And Rick Neuheisel said after the second game against BYU, he just didn't know it was going to happen in the first 2 games.
John Wooden still, well, every time I go to a Bruins game at Pauley, I'm sitting in the same seat and remembers your name. He's amazing. Micah Reed, that's just what Rick Neuheisel needs, another offensive lineman to go down. And
Micah Reed, one of the few players up front for the Bruins who has been a reliable, experienced member of that unit. He's been in and out of the lineup like a lot of the members of that offensive front. Yeah, injuries have been a problem, and depth was a real concern coming in at the outset.
He's missed 3 games because of a knee injury. You mentioned Baca out with a hamstring. Mike Akia moves over to the other tackle spot. He's had a back injury. Harris, who steps in, had a high ankle sprain early in the season. Of course, everybody deals with it this time of year. It's hit the Bruins hard, though. 2nd and 9. Inside give. They're going to run it with Bell. And again, short gain. That's it. Brings up 3rd down. This week, Monday Night Football, AFC South Showdown. The Colts taking on the only remaining undefeated team, the Tennessee Titans, where Norm Chow was, now the offensive coordinator here at UCLA. 8:30 Eastern time and 7 o'clock Eastern with Monday Night Countdown delivered by UPS. Good matchup on Monday night.
AFC South Showdown, and a lot of people wondering what's wrong with that Indianapolis Colts offense.
Shotgun 3rd and 7 just behind Terrence Austin. Brings up 4th down. So the offense has been anemic so far for UCLA. In fact, it's cost them 3 points.
Well, the Cal defense has been terrific early. Bob Gregory dialing up some linebacker pressure and blitz situations, and Rick Neuheisel asking Kevin Kraft why he can't hit that ball. I mean, that is an easy ball, an out route. Austin was clean. We got to deliver that football.
Perez on for his 2nd punt. This one much better. I mean, he boomed this one. Sidquan Thompson going all the way back to his own 10 and watching it go out of bounds at the 11. What a punt from Aaron Perez, who's 2nd in the Pac-10. 71 yards. Well, I mentioned it. A lot of people come here to San Francisco. They take in the Golden Gate Bridge, all the top attractions. Here's what Nori does on his day off.
If you turn the clock back a half century, it was 1967 here in San Francisco, the summer of love. And the godfathers of jam band music, the Grateful Dead, were living communally right behind me at 710 Ashbury. People coming and going at all hours of the day and night. And I think it's safe to say, if you sit here and you soak it all in, the spirit of Jerry Garcia lives on.
Now, you weren't there in the summer of love, were you? You had that mellow feeling going on there.
No, I was not here in the Bay Area, but I was around.
Javid Best with the carry, gained a little more than a yard.
I think I might have been crawling. I don't think I was walking yet.
Took in the Fillmore yesterday. And all the music history here.
Some great music venues across the city. Winterland, the Warfield, Fillmore.
Fillmore went away and then was a punk place for a while and then opened back up. Best. Second down carry out to the 15. That's it. So the Bruin defense doing a nice job here on the first 2 plays from scrimmage is to gain a 3. Brigham Harwell, the senior, along with Brian Price inside. And you and I did the Fresno State game. The coaches said, we're just waiting for Brian Price to explode. Dwayne Walker saying we expect huge things. Only a sophomore, and we saw it in that game.
He's showing some flashes, and as you said, Terry, the strength of this defense is inside at the defensive tackle position with Price and Harwell.
Third down play, Riley goes down. Inside the 5. Price, as we mentioned his name, in on the sack. Along with Reggie Carter and a loss of 10.
Reggie Carter coming on the linebacker pressure, playing out of position, not at his middle linebacker spot. But when you turn him loose and he can draw a bead, he's a sure tackler in the pocket. Nice play by UCLA, and a nice job of UCLA keeping their feet early in this football game.
Anger trying to get it off quickly and does. This one's a good one. Austin watches it bounce at the 43. So after a 71-yard punt from Perez, that's a 57-yarder out of his own end zone.
Anger's punt covering 52 yards, no return.
So UCLA will take over 1st and 10. You think Rick Neuheisel wishes he had one David Norrie out there running the show?
No, I don't know about that.
Take you back, not quite to the late 60s, the early 80s. Look at Mr. Norrie in action. Who made that catch?
That was Carl Durrell. That was the last head coach for UCLA. Preceded Rick Neuheisel.
Kraft trying to turn things around here with the offense and hands it off to Khalil Bell, who hasn't had an outstanding season so far for UCLA. He's had the high ankle sprain, which has slowed him.
He had a big game, went over 100 yards last year against Cal, but take a look at a Bear that's down after that play.
I think it's Sidquan Thompson.
Khalil Bell has been
Brett Johnson,
hampered by some injury problems himself.
And a man down, number 25, Brett Johnson. And as they tend to him, you talk about that running game for UCLA, less than 100 yards on the ground, just over 90 yards per game on the ground. That's 115th in college football.
And if you take the Fresno State game out of the mix, very paltry run production from UCLA over the course of the season. Looks like Brett is up and moving well.
And as he goes off the field, Chris Forcier, the backup quarterback, comes on to replace Kevin Kraft. And we saw him, what he gives you is the option of running the football.
Well, he really does. He is exceptional with his feet. Ran the ball 3 times last week against Stanford, and Neuheisel wants to get him integrated into this offense.
Going to throw it this time, no. And they, well, had it for a moment at midfield. That's incomplete. That ball right in the hands of Taylor Embry, and he dropped it.
Oh, that is a rare drop from Taylor Embry, another true freshman playing for UCLA, and a pretty nice ball from Forcier. A lot of people wondering whether Forcier can deliver the ball downfield. He's a known quantity already as a runner. A nice job of getting his feet set and delivering the ball with some accuracy.
Kraft back in now, 0 for 4 and 1 interception. But Rick Neuheisel brings on Forcier. You and I say it. Defensive coaches are thinking it from Cal. He can run the football, and he chooses to throw. Kraft's going to throw. It was knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Tyson Alualu, the junior from Honolulu, got a piece of it.
Alualu, probably the best defensive lineman up front for the Bears. Cal doing a real nice job early in this football game, controlling the line of scrimmage, creating penetration, picking their spots with the blitz.
Sidquan Thompson back deep. Perez, who's already had a long punt. This one at the 11. So Cal with that 3-0 lead, just under 2 minutes here in the first. Punt of 44 yards, and their offense goes back to work. A reminder, near the conclusion of today's game, we'll select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team. Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund, as they have done for many, many years on our ABC telecast. We're going to work on the stadium, of course, part of that renovation, with the Student Center right behind us. But what a great setting this is. A place that's been around since 1923. You got the trees, the hills, Tightwad Hill. People getting a free view of the game.
Price is right up there. And the view is too.
Yeah, you not only see the stadium and the game, there it is, but also you can look right across the bay to the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco.
It's been spectacular this week. 80 degrees, sunny. Got up here on Tuesday. I might never leave.
Is that a threat? 1st and 10 from their own 5-yard line. Riley under center. Here comes Best breaking through, but just for a gain of maybe 3 yards. UCLA doing a pretty nice job against the run so far. Corey Bosworth, who was in on that sack the last possession, gets the tackle.
Yeah, we're visiting with Frank Cignetti, the offensive coordinator for Cal yesterday, and talking about job at Best. He missed the Arizona State game, dislocated that left elbow. You see that heavy brace on the left elbow, and we talked to Cignetti, and the coach said, hey, it has not affected the way that he runs with the football, the way that he secures the ball, and it hasn't hurt him in the pass game either.
Shane Vereen in for Best. Scampers across the 10 out to the 12 right now. Vereen, just a freshman. This is not an offense, though, that has put together long drives. It's a quick strike, and especially in the run game, they've had some long runs for touchdowns.
Well, Vereen, not much of a drop-off when he comes in the game. Doesn't quite have the ability to make you miss, but he ripped off an 81-yard touchdown run to put away the opener against Michigan State. And when you combine Vereen with job at Best, 4 touchdown runs this year combined, and between the two of them, Terry, of over 67 yards.
See that number, too. I don't care who you're playing against, what the competition is. 89 touchdowns in high school. That's off the charts.
Yeah, that's pretty solid production.
Not this time, though. Brian Price. They're getting penetration against the offensive line of Cal, and a loss of 3.
Well, you talked about Brian Price and the coaching staff for UCLA wanting Mr. Price to take over some football games. There are plays where he flashes and just shows brilliance. Very quick for his size, 6'2", 300 pounds.
Nobody blocked him that time.
The space eater.
Anger again from his own end zone. Seconds of the first quarter tick off the clock. So we head to the second here under blue skies in Berkeley. Rick Neuheisel trailing 3-0. The defense doing a great job, though.
How you doing? I'm well.
Head to the second quarter here in Berkeley. 3-0 Cal with that opening drive off of the turnover. The interception on the first play from scrimmage from Kevin Kraft. Brian Anger from his own end zone. Doesn't get it off. It's blocked. And the Bruins able to recover it. 6 on the board for UCLA. And the Bruins come up with a big play.
UCLA blocked a punt for a touchdown in the opener against Tennessee. It was a play that figured very large in the upset win against the Volunteers.
Mark Anthony coming up with the block, and eventually Glenn Love with the recovery.
Yeah, it looked like Anthony laid out, and a nice job by Love to make the recovery before the ball got out of the back of the end zone.
Kai Forbath on for the extra point. Just like that, it's 7-3. And it's kind of been the tale for UCLA. They haven't been able to do things offensively at times throughout the season, but the defense keeping them in, and then a quick strike, and they have the lead.
Well, Jeff Tedford has to be concerned. You watch the first quarter of this football game, and Cal appeared to dominate the game from a defensive standpoint, but the UCLA defense and special teams have given UCLA a lead. And that is a great play by Anthony to split blockers. And again, Love making sure that he doesn't get too frisky on that recovery, knock the ball through the end zone. You want to come up with 7 points, not 2.
Looked like that was 21 Westgate who actually got a piece of it. 7-3 UCLA as we check out our X Factor brought to you by Citi. And this is what has to happen for UCLA. Kraft coming up with a complete game first and foremost.
Well, and I think you can already say that Kevin has not put together a complete game. UCLA coming in needs a game from start to finish from Kraft that is his best of the season, in my opinion, to win the game. And then California, they want to keep the ball on the ground and control the football against UCLA. The Bruins defense have been pretty stout on the line of scrimmage. They have not allowed many creases for this Cal run game.
Short kickoff, and it's Jeremy Ross who will bring this one back, looking for a hole out to the 30-yard line. We send it back to the studio. An update from John Saunders. John?
Well, Terry, Sports Center right now powered by Vizio, beginning with Texas Tech quarterback Graham Harrell. 16-yard pass to Michael Crabtree. He had 5 touchdown passes in the game and a touchdown run and an easy win over Kansas. Goldakova in the lead here in the Breeders' Cup Mile, and no one going to catch the horse and walks off with the victory. That is your Sports Center right now, powered by Vizio.
All right, John, biggest day in racing today in California. Santa Anita, the site. Just outside of LA. They're going to whistle this one dead.
Timeout, UCLA.
Not quite straight, so Rick Neuheisel's club burning the timeout, but they're on the board. They've got the lead here in the second. 7-3 UCLA on top. Opening moments of the second quarter. Arbad misidentifying the man who blocked that punt. It was Sean Westgate, freshman from Oak Park, California, got penetration. And eventually recovered by Glenn Love. Cal takes over the quick throw from Riley. Complete, trying to get this offense going across the 40 and a first down. Nyan Boateng, the junior from Brooklyn, with his first catch of the afternoon.
Sean Westgate. Go ahead and roll it, guys. Sean Westgate's going to come off the right side, and just another one of the true freshmen for UCLA that has made a contribution in the early season for Rick Neuheisel as we work into late October. What a play to split blockers and get a piece of that punt.
Best bounces off a one. Takes a hit and across midfield into Bruin territory. A gain of 7. Some hard running for the man who goes about 193 pounds.
The job at Best is not only one of the best breakaway threats at tailback on the West Coast. I think he's one of the best young tailbacks in space in all of the country. And you really have to get numbers to him. You've got to pay attention to your angles. Had an electrifying 67-yard touchdown run last week against Arizona.
That touchdown runs of over 80 yards twice this year. Shane Vereen gets the call this time, and they'll move the chains.
Well, I think that Frank Signetti, the offensive coordinator for Cal, has to make sure that he's spelling job at Best with the elbow. And as we said earlier, with Vereen, you don't have much of a drop-off, and he is very capable of splitting you and taking it all the way to the house.
UCLA still looking for their first down. Cal with 7 already, but they trail. Vereen, good hole initially. Powers inside the 40 to the 39, so they just keep it on the ground. They keep moving it. By the way, you know who else is in the house today? Our colleague from ESPN, ABC, Rod Gilmore. They did the San Jose Boise game last night. What are you picking up on the sidelines here besides some sun?
Yeah, thanks for the ticket, guys. Happy to be down here. Well, for the UCLA defense, it's all about job at best. They're doing a good job of communicating, finding him, pointing out where he is. And on that sack a few plays ago, he wasn't very good back there. He came off the field, he told the guys, hey, my fault. Not sure if it's the elbow or something else.
There he goes. Got another first down for Cal. I like the look today. Very casual on the sideline.
Well, and you wouldn't.
It's a little warm down here, guys.
Yeah, I know. Warm up in the booth as well.
Well, and you'd have to worry about that elbow. We think about ball handling. How is he going to catch the ball? How is he going to protect it when he runs? But I think Rod brings up a good point. How is he going to hold up in the blocking game? People forget how a big a role a tailback plays in pass protection. And you got to worry about contact, taking on linebackers, sometimes defensive ends when you have to sit in and block in pass protection.
Had that touchdown run last week, and as he was diving to the corner of the end zone, he didn't really have to. Jeff Tedford screaming, no, why? Jumps over a tackler, still out best. Can he get there? Dives again, this time close, and the signal, touchdown. This time the dive was for real. 34 yards, and what a play.
Well, you hear so much about change of direction. How about change of speed? You're going to watch Job at Best almost come to a stop here. Runs into his offensive lineman. Looked like Matt Laird. And then how about the Job getting back up to top end speed? A great job stretching the ball inside the pylon.
Tavecchio on for the extra point, and it's 10-7 Cal. Well, that's one you take a look at the rest of the season when you show the best of best. Hit once, jumps over another, the dive for 6.
Brought to you by the all-new Dodge Ram. Never back down from a challenge. Aflac. Ask about it at work. And College Game Day is built by the Home Depot. You can do it. We can help.
Good look at the offices of the Daily Californian. Been around since 1871. One of the oldest newspapers on the West Coast. One of the oldest college newspapers in the country. And the headlines tomorrow will say, unbelievable run by Job at Best. Or some line will, at least.
Well, the great backs can get it done when you don't get all the jerseys covered. All the defenders blocked.
Terrence Austin from his own 5. Back this way. Good return across the 25. Total offense so far, Cal with 113 yards. UCLA -3. We check out our Best Buy playbook.
Yeah, go ahead and run it downstairs. Behind every great running game is a great fullback, and let's freeze it right here. Will Taufoo'o at the H-back position, coming out of his fullback role, gets a knockdown block, and then watch Job at Best get the rest of it done on his own. Makes 2 or 3 defenders miss, runs into his big right tackle, and still is able to take it all the way to the paint.
Taufoo'o took out 2 people, took out Werner and then Lockett. They said -3 yards total till that play for UCLA. Khalil Bell for a short gain. There is a flag down.
Jeff Tedford, as always, you see on the left side there, the knockdown on Werner, and then Taufoo'o continues down the field, gets another piece on Lockett. As you said, Terry, you don't see many athletes at running back across the country that have the explosiveness of a Job at Best. And they just keep lining them up here at Cal.
Illegal block below the waist. Number 10 on the offense. Half the distance to the goal. Replay first down.
Job at Best takes over for Justin Forsett. Before Forsett, it was the talented Marshawn Lynch.
6 straight years with a 1,000-yard rusher, and Best on his way. There's Gavin Ketchum, who was caught, and they'll back up UCLA.
Wow, look at these numbers right here on the total yards. Pass yards, not much prettier for UCLA.
Good ball game, though, 10-7. Quick throw, complete to Austin. And knocked out of bounds just shy of the 20-yard line. Austin, the junior from Long Beach, and their leading receiver.
When you're having trouble protecting your passer, the Bruins have had plenty of pass pro problems here early in this football game. Cal's done a great job of creating things with blitz pressure up front. Defensive line has gotten a nice push, but when you're having trouble protecting the passer, sometimes you just want to get the ball outside quickly into your playmaker's hands.
Technically, if I can say, that's part of the run game. That was a lateral. 2nd and 18. Kraft coming this way, rolling out. They want to do more of that. High into the air goes Embry with the catch. And brought down outside the 30 at the 33. Got to get out to the 37 for the first down.
Well, I spent some time with Rick Neuheisel last Sunday, and he said, hey, we have got to get Kevin Kraft comfortable. And I think the best way to do that is get him on the run. He's at his best when he's on the move. That is not an easy pass for a lot of quarterbacks at the college level. He makes that throw moving to his left effortlessly.
Yeah, Norm Chow putting that in last week along with Rick Neuheisel to get him some different looks, and continuing with that. Out of the gun now, low snap, nice play. 3rd and 4, quick out, that's complete. And close, should have a first down. That's Khalil Bell out of the backfield.
Kevin Kraft runs hot and cold. He can look very ugly at times, but he also has some great athleticism. How about the play on the snap with the left hand? Gets the ball outside, facing the pressure. Looked like Tyson Alu getting up into his face. And you see Norm Chow working up in the box. The guru.
Good look at the forehead of Norm Chow.
Got a great play from his quarterback on that 3rd down conversion.
So it's 1st and 10. That's the first down of the game. They throw it quickly out across midfield, and another first down. Taylor Embry with the catch. They'll move the chains. We send it to Matt Weiner with an update.
All right, Terry, let's get you a Verizon Wireless update from Austin, where Texas is playing its 3rd straight ranked opponent. So far, so good for the #1 team in the country. Vondrell McGee, 14 yards there to complete the Longhorns' 2nd straight 90-plus yard touchdown drive. Oklahoma State is now on the board there. And Georgia leads at LSU 21-10 in Tiger Stadium.
How about the Big 12 South? There's 4 of the top 8 teams in the first BCS ranking. Derek Coleman bringing people with him as they keep it on the ground this time. Check out our ESPNU All-State Standings review and first look at the BCS standings. Texas, how about the monster schedule they're in the midst of right now?
Well, and how about the play from Colt McCoy at quarterback? I mean, he's not only looking to break the single-season pass percentage record, he's looking to shatter it. And he's completing over 80% of his balls, and he's emerged as a run threat from the quarterback position.
Big one tonight, Penn State #3, Ohio State #9. Coleman, the freshman, short gain over the right side, brings up 3rd down. Cameron Jordan on the stop.
There's no doubt in my mind that Colt McCoy, the Longhorn quarterback, is the front runner right now in the Heisman race. He has put together a year for the ages, and we're only halfway through this season.
A lot of people in California, after watching that Ohio State loss at the Coliseum to SC, shaking their heads, wondering how Ohio State could be maybe a win tonight from being in the thick of things for a national title race again. This one thrown behind the intended receiver. It's picked off. They're bringing it back. Marcus Ezef all the way to the house. No flags.
This is another decision-making problem for Kevin Kraft. The ball's thrown poorly behind the receiver. Ezef stays at home, reads the eyes all the way. Had to play a partial deflection on the interception. But those kinds of mistakes are so tough for a team to overcome. And Kevin Kraft has got to learn how to secure the football for this team.
Tavecchio on for another extra point. Izef bringing it back 69 yards. It was clear sailing once it was tipped, and he had it in his hands. Rick Neuheisel not at all pleased with his quarterback after that last throw.
I don't quite recall the last time I've seen a head coach his quarterback as hard on the sidelines during a game as Rick Neuheisel has done with Kevin Kraft over the course of this year. We remember back the first half against Tennessee, and just a blistering coaching job on the sideline by Neuheisel with Kraft. It was not much prettier last week late in the second quarter. Neuheisel thinking about benching Kevin Kraft, and I know that Rick gave him some pointed comments after that pick that went the other way for 6.
Austin back deep. Well, Kraft just 3 of 9, 33 yards and a couple of interceptions. This one goes out of bounds.
Wow.
Looked like Austin was coming up to kick it.
Yeah, and that's a penalty right there. They may have called a penalty for the ball going out of bounds, but if he kicked it before it went out of bounds, that's illegal kicking of the football.
What's he doing, though?
He did not want the ball to be in play, obviously, with the Owlbear covering the football. But if you do that, you got to get down on the ground and knock the ball out of bounds with your hand, not your foot. It's not legal to kick the football.
Kick was intentionally kicked. Penalty is 15 yards on the previous spot. Re-kick.
Well, it's very odd. I mean, you're right. You either recover it quickly before the kicking team can get down there, or you let it go out of bounds.
Well, and Cal has the ability to kick this. Yeah, you see Terrence Austin, and that you don't see that every weekend.
That's a nice way of saying it.
And I believe Cal has the ability here, the option to kick the ball from the 45-yard line. And that opens up some options for Jeff Tedford in terms of a potential onside kick. You can pooch kick it up in the air, try to get down and cover it, or you can just decide to try to kick it out of the end zone. Like a military exercise.
The penalty for illegally kicking a loose ball is declined. The ball will be placed at the spot where it went out of bounds. First down.
Okay.
Last time I saw that move, it was a nutcracker during the holidays.
Mass confusion on the sideline right now, and Rick's trying to get a clarification, but Cal is going to take it as is, and it's where it went out of bounds, where it was kicked out of bounds. But you mentioned Rick Neuheisel very close to pulling his quarterback last week against Stanford, and with the struggles so far, not only the struggles, I mean, he's going the opposite direction this week.
Well, and there's been a very delicate balance. We talked about how hard Rick Neuheisel has coached Kevin Kraft on the sidelines. Norm Chow up in the box has been an intervening, calming influence at times. A couple times this year, including last week, it was Norm Chow who talked Rick Neuheisel out of benching Kevin Kraft. And the times that Norm Chow has done that, Kevin Kraft has delivered for him in football games.
It's a high standard with Neuheisel and his offensive knowledge, the fact that he played quarterback and Kraft a first-year quarterback trying to take in a new system. Not really expecting to start this year. Thought about getting it to his tight end Moya. It's going to throw longer, though, and this one up to the 34-yard line. Taylor Embry near the sideline. It's his third catch already, and that's a first down.
Kevin Kraft, big problems early in this football game. The deflection by Sidquan Thompson. The pick that goes the other way for 6. Izef. He is the epitome of a Jekyll and Hyde quarterback. And the last play, Neuheisel getting him outside. This is a terrific throw on the comeback out.
How big a day is Izef having with the 2 picks and the touchdown? Kraft's going to keep it on the ground. The design run, right side. Tripped up by Eddie Young. And Williams also in. Look at the difference first half to second half for Kevin Kraft.
And he has just not been comfortable in the pocket. He's not been good with his feet, moving and resetting. He's So the Bruin offensive coaches have decided to move him outside on the run, and that's where his accuracy picks up considerably.
1 touchdown, 7 interceptions in the first half this year. Austin complete, made a move across the 40 and about a yard shy, maybe close to a first down actually, as he ends up at the 44. It is time for the Aflac trivia question. Here you go. This is the first week of the BCS standings this year. In the first BCS standings ever, back in 1998, what was UCLA's ranking?
Well, I am not 100% sure on this, but that was Cade McNown's senior year. What a team the Bruins had. They lost in the last game of the season to Miami, the game that was moved to December, the Hurricane game that was canceled down in Miami. Bruins lost that game by 3 points, knocked them out of a national title game appearance and an undefeated season going into a national title game. And I believe they were ranked #1, Terry.
I cheated. I looked at it. I already peeked. So I'm not eligible for the gift. What is the gift?
So you got to wait for that duck to come walking across the monitor again, right?
Yeah, but you're saying #1.
I'm going to say #1. A couple great players on that team, offensively and defensively.
See, but it has to be very high if we're going to have that question.
That's true.
Otherwise, why ask the question?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say they were ranked #1.
But that's my point. You're not really going out on a limb.
But what did you want me to say? Top 5?
I'm taking away from your victory, if it is that.
I think you're badgering the witness.
Kraft using his legs to get the first down, it appears. Bruins think so. All right, there's not much drama going on here with our Aflac trivia question today. We kind of know it. Last week there were 7 answers to our Aflac trivia question. 7.
This week, I'm relieved to tell you that there's only 1 answer.
And it is 1.
#1.
There you go. Congratulations. Pick up your parting gift as you leave today.
You know, I as Johnny Carson used to say, I did not know that, but it was a good guess.
You know, half the audience you just lost. Who is Johnny Carson? Power running. A late flag thrown on the far side of the field. Khalil Bell ahead for a couple. Cameron Jordan on the stop. See what the flag's about. I always wonder when they get together how many times it changes from the first bit of discussion to the end of the discussion.
Illegal formation by the offense. Only 6 men on the line of scrimmage. Replay first down.
Something like that, I would imagine as a coach, it really drives you crazy.
Well, and especially a Rick Neuheisel, a technician. We have the same situation with Jeff Tedford on the other sideline. Both played quarterback at the college level, very high level of efficiency and execution, always a hallmark of both Neuheisel and Tedford's background.
It is a heck of a matchup in terms of offensive minds with the 2 head coaches today. They're going to roll Kraft out, throws complete near midfield, out at the 48-yard line. So Kraft again getting out there outside the pocket, this time to Dominique Johnson.
Almost night and day when you watch Kevin Kraft get outside the tackles delivering the football.
A reminder, ABC Thursday, 10/9 Central, an all-new Life on Mars. The next Great Cop show has arrived, starring Michael Imperioli and Harvey Keitel, after an all-new Grey's Anatomy right here on ABC.
Remember Michael Imperioli playing Spider in Goodfellas? Wasn't a happy ending for him in that.
No, it was not. Or the real Spider. Johnson with the catch, and that's a first down. So this time Kraft right on the money with his throw. And out of the pocket, not rolling out.
This Cal defense, so much has been made of the 3-4 defense, the transition to the 3-4 under Bob Gregory. And a lot of teams feel in recruiting that they can't get the big defensive linemen as readily as the linebackers. It really fits the personnel for Cal, and they've been one of the top defenses in the Pac-10 throughout the year.
Different options offer that to apply pressure to, which they do, but it doesn't do them any good. This one complete down to the 21. Marcus Everett, they got him back. Had the toe injury, missed a number of games. Back, though, high into the air to make the catch.
This is some added depth for UCLA, getting Marcus Everett back. They lost him in the first half against Tennessee. Kraft, you can never knock his toughness. He's taken some big hits over the course of this year. Always gets up. That ball's delivered high. And Terry, you always love to have your wide receiver help you out when you're playing the quarterback position.
And you can't doubt the ability of Kraft, the resiliency of Kraft, the ability to come back, take the hits, make some mistakes, but keep leading the offense. Khalil Bell along the left side, good gain. Talk about what he's done in the pocket and out of the pocket. 3 of 4 when he rolls out and gets outside.
He just hasn't had the efficiency with his feet. And the coaches and quarterbacks know that it all starts from the feet up. We were talking to Frank Signetti, the Cal offensive coordinator, yesterday. He talked about how important feet are. And Kraft, much better feet when he's on the move than when he's setting behind the center.
Derek Coleman, the freshman, in at tailback. Play fake. Kraft with plenty of time. On the run, throws this one away. Good coverage downfield. And you got to know as a quarterback too when to go ahead and get it to third down with the football.
Well, we've talked about Kevin Riley and why he's been able to play some and start now 5 games at quarterback for Cal. He brings that element with his legs to the game. And Kevin Kraft is not too different. He has made quite a few plays for UCLA, pulling the football down. And the way the defenses play in college football in this day and age, so valuable to have a quarterback that can move.
Big third down coming up for this UCLA offense. Under pressure, the throw, and this is picked off. No one there. Sean Cattouse, the redshirt freshman from Chicago. And an easy interception. Where was he throwing?
That was an ugly ball. That was what we call a misfire. And Rick Neuheisel is going to be forced to make a decision before too long on who's going to be playing quarterback.
That last interception, whosever fault it was, there was miscommunication between Kraft and Marcus Everett, the wide receiver.
Yeah, judging by Coach Neuheisel's reaction on the sideline, Marcus Everett back in the lineup for only the second week, getting snaps. He might have checked up his route instead of continuing down the field.
Yeah, but look at who Rick Neuheisel's talking to. Even at this point, his quarterback. 66 yards on that drive, 63 of them through the air, but another turnover, and Cal goes back to work on offense. Shane Vereen trying to get away from the tackle of Brett Lockett and can't do it.
Taking a look back. Watch Everett. Go ahead and freeze it right there. He checks up instead of continuing down the field. That might have been on Marcus Everett. You can't always assume that the responsibility lays in the hands of the quarterback if the route is blown by the wide receiver.
3 interceptions thrown by Kraft in the first half. Best tripped up, but he's got a first down. Another big gain of 7 for the sophomore.
Now you're really rolling the dice when you turn Javid Best loose in space.
Take a look at our Pacific Life game summary. 112 yards for UCLA, over half of those on that last drive.
And the turnovers have been the big story. The pick early that gave Cal a short field, and of course the interception by Ezef for 6 points.
This time Sean Cattouse getting into the party with the pick. 1st and 10, play fake. Riley steps up, throws incomplete. Cameron Mora, and that's like a number of balls last week in that loss to Arizona. It's a tough catch, but it's one that he could have come up with.
Well, and that was a nice effort by Mora. Very rare at the college level to have a tight end that can get up the field, stretch the field vertically, meaning threaten you on the deep routes. And Mora doing all he can to cradle the football there. That would have been an exceptional catch as he was sliding on the turf. Look at the quarterback comparison. Riley hasn't absolutely lit it up here in the first half.
And has to take a timeout right now and talk things over with 2 minutes, 41 seconds left until halftime in Berkeley. Back on ESPN, college football on ABC, presented by Best Buy. 2 minutes, 41 seconds left until halftime. And Cal with that 17-7 lead, much of it because of the defense and the ability to create turnovers. Going back to the first play from scrimmage, which was an interception. 2nd and 10 for Kevin Riley. He's going to change the play at the line of scrimmage. Not a great looking play from the start. Shane Vereen just a short gain over the left side. So a 10-point lead for Cal in an odd game so far, David, because neither team really able to sustain anything offensively. It's been the defense that's been the big story for both.
And I think the biggest story has been Kevin Crafton's turnovers, not taking care of the football, the pick the other way. And if UCLA was playing a more secure football game, I think they might still have the lead. And you got to give a lot of credit to Cal. You know, this defense has thrived throughout the season on turnovers, mainly interceptions.
Yeah, and the one highlight offensively, that run by Javed Best to the end zone, which was terrific. This one thrown incomplete, broken up. Alteron Werner made a nice timing play on that ball.
That's a nice job by Werner getting a hand over the receiver, knocking the ball away. And Terry, this is a conference that is up for grabs. If you look underneath the hood, Arizona and Oregon State, the only two teams that still control their destiny at this point. If they win out, either one of those teams, they go to the Rose Bowl.
Big game tonight, USC at Arizona. Austin back at his own 35. From the 32. Trying to come back this way and may get around the corner. Looking for a block. Still up. Dances his way out at the 35 and late flags along the sideline. Boy, he had that initial speed to make it all the way across the field to turn the corner and brought it back 34 yards.
Sideline interference by the return team. 5-yard penalty from the 16 spot. First down.
All right, so they'll back him up 5 yards, but take a look at the return as he comes all the way over to this side.
Yeah, Terrence Austin is a great performer in special teams. Against Fresno State, set a record on kickoff return yards. Close to 300 yards in that game, Terry, in return yards combined, punt and kickoffs. And remember, the opening kickoff of that game, the opening kickoff of the game, 100-yarder call back. Would have been close to 400 yards in returns for Austin on that afternoon.
So the Bruins will take over 1st and 10 from the 39-yard line. Great field position for UCLA, and it is Kraft back at quarterback. Far sideline, man-to-man coverage, high into the air with the catch. Taylor Embry hauls it in over Sidquan Thompson, his 4th catch of the afternoon.
Taylor Embry has firmly established himself as one of the best freshman receivers in the country. Look at him position himself. The size, was only able to secure the football with the left hand, brings it down, clasps it against his chest. And what a year he has had for the Bruins.
1st and 10, Shane Moline, the fullback who plays tailback as well, looks for a hole along the right side. Embry, though, from a football family. His dad, John, an assistant with the Chiefs, was at UCLA. Long history, Rick Neuheisel with him. Our Capital One halftime report coming up in just a few moments. And it's a timeout. UCLA, their 2nd of the half.
Taylor Embry's father, John Embry, great tight end at Colorado. Played some professional ball with the Los Angeles Rams back in the day. And his son Taylor Embry was just a 5 or 6 year old when Rick Neuheisel was the head coach at Colorado. John Embry was on that staff coaching tight ends. Embry has really shown some ability, not only through the first half of the season, but early in this football game. He's made 3 or 4 plays that have really stood out for UCLA.
4 catches, 71 yards already for Embry. Neuheisel's hot.
I talked to Rick earlier this week. He said that if there's an area on the team right now outside of our defensive tackles that is really playing at a high level and showing a lot of promise, it's this group of wide receivers. Very deep.
They like their tight ends down near the goal line in the red zone. Quick throw to Everett inside the 5, down to the 3. Marcus Everett. Rod Gilmore down on the sideline. What do you have?
Hey, on that timeout, that was a mistake. Rick Neuheisel did not call a timeout. He was signaling to his team to huddle up, and the officials thought it was a timeout, and Neuheisel's not happy about it. He tried to get him to give the timeout back, something they wouldn't do it. He's not happy at all.
Wow, and that'll burn Rick up more than anything in terms of clock management, priding himself on that.
He is one of the best, and he learned from the best. Homer Smith, his offensive coordinator and quarterback coach back in the early 80s at UCLA. I think with more than a minute to go, that is not going to penalize UCLA too much, especially with that one timeout still in Rick Neuheisel's back pocket.
Jeff Tedford watching his team, looking for the defense to come up with a play on 3rd and 1. And the crowd's starting to get into it now.
With less time on the clock, it would create a problem in terms of your play calling here. I think with over a minute to go and that timeout left for the Bruins, you have the flexibility to run the football. And I'd be surprised if UCLA doesn't run the ball here. They might just keep it on the ground with Kevin Kraft. Nice size for a quarterback inside on a sneak.
Everett in motion. Khalil Bell looking to get outside, turn the corner. Now brought down at the 5. Great play by Mike Muhammad. The sophomore using his strength and his legs on the pursuit, David.
Yeah, Mike Muhammad is not a starter, but he can play all the positions. He ends up usually finishing games with the most snaps of all the linebackers. And what a play getting outside. Khalil Bell is not 100%. And I don't think you can go wrong on a quarterback sneak on that last play. Give the defense some opportunity to penetrate. Khalil Bell usually has better speed when he's working the perimeter.
They'll run that play clock down and the game clock down and take that final timeout.
That was a great job by the Cal defense bouncing that run outside. That run by Bell was designed to go off tackle. And the defense playing inside out, allowing Muhammad to run it down on the outside.
Reminder, another big one coming up tonight. Saturday Night Football, presented by Southwest Airlines on ABC, 5 o'clock Pacific time. Penn State taking on Ohio State. The Nittany Lions, great year, undefeated year, number 3 in the BCS standings. Haven't won in Columbus as a member of the Big Ten. That's how long it's been.
The X factor, we're talking about Heisman Trophy candidates. The X factor in my mind, Terry, is Darrell Clark, the quarterback for Penn State. And the quarterback play has not been up to par for Joe Paterno over the last 4 or 5 years. And I think you go back to Michael Robinson, last time Penn State won the Big Ten championship. But Darrell Clark has given them the balance to go in and win that game in Columbus. I think Penn State is going to be a tough challenge for Ohio State, even at the shoe.
Kai Forbath on for the try. Short field goal, and it is good. So UCLA able to add 3 more on the scoreboard, but Rick's still hot about the timeout that he didn't take and was charged to him.
I think he's a little hotter about Khalil Bell getting run down outside, not picking up the first down. That burned a lot of clock. And 4th and 2, you want to burn clock. You don't want to leave time for the Cal Bears to come down and get a field goal before we head into the locker room.
If you were not with us, the punt block early. UCLA getting to the end zone off their defense, and the turnover was 7-3 at that point, but Javid Best, just a great run to the end zone. But interception's a problem for Kraft. Marcus Ezef with 2 picks, this one all the way back 69 yards. So the defense playing a big role for both teams in the first half, and a 7-point game as we head to the break.
Well, this Cal Bears team is really a big play offense and defense. And you talked about the Bears, Terry, having trouble putting together drives. They've made a living off of big plays on turnovers when their defense has been on the field. And with Javid Best and some of the emerging playmakers for Cal, they can get it done on offense.
Tracy Slocum, Jeremy Ross back deep for Cal. Might squib this one with 8 seconds left. And they do. Cal Bears and some friends falling on it at the 32. So a couple of seconds off the clock, that's it. And Cal will take over. Think about Cal too overall for Jeff Tedford. You know, they've been ups and downs so far, 4-2, but 2-1 in the Pac-10. So you look at that game tonight with USC and Arizona, you look at the Pac-10 race the rest of the way, and you feel like you've got a legitimate shot at making a run here.
Well, that's the first big juggernaut game that we will see in the Pac-10 tonight, Arizona USC. I think that's the highest impact game we've seen. Pac-10 schedule, and a very disappointing loss for Cal last week down at Arizona. They could have been undefeated and in control of this Pac-10 race.
Kraft, a tough first half. What do you think about Riley with the start today?
Well, I think that UCLA has done some nice things taking away his looks down the field, but you know, Riley, as we said, has not exactly been lighting it up in the pass game.
Cal with the lead, 17-10 over UCLA. Stay tuned after the break. Capital One halftime report. John Saunders, Craig James, Doug Flutie. The view that David Norrie wakes up to every day when he's here in San Francisco, taken from his rooftop. You got a good life, you know that, Mr. Norrie?
What is it going to take to get you to come over and enjoy a tall, cold refreshment with me over in the city?
Nice too. Back here, our ESPN college football on ABC, presented by Best Buy. 17-10. Cal with the lead here at the half over UCLA. Terry Gannon back with David Norrie. An odd first half because neither team really able to get any rhythm offensively. The defense coming up with big plays, and UCLA certainly struggling in terms of Kevin Kraft.
Well, you can't turn it over 3 times at quarterback in any game, let alone in a half. And this game looks a lot like the Tennessee game in the first half. You know, Kevin Kraft got off to a very slow start a week ago against Stanford, and you know, if he plays true to form here, he's going to come on a bit in the second half. I've liked what they've done with him, moving him outside the pocket, getting him on the move. He's a much more accurate passer when he's on the run.
But Kevin Riley on the other side getting the start. He started the first 4 games for Jeff Tedford. Longshore started the last 2, and Riley with just 33 yards in the air in the first half. Cal deferred after winning the flip, so they will receive here to start the second half. The way the offenses have been playing, I'm not sure you want the football. You got a better chance of making a play on defense. UCLA 3-4 on the year, and even money 2-2 in Pac-10 play. Cal 4-2 and 2-1. One of 5 teams in the Pac-10 with just 1 loss. Jeremy Ross from his own 2. Looking for a hole, he's found one. Ross to the outside across the 40. Across midfield. Great return, great field position to start the second half for the Bears.
Special teams have played heavily into this football game. Bruins scoring on a blocked punt. Also a big return by Austin, and now the Bears get into the act. How about the stiff arms? 2 of them to finish off that return.
47 yards, he brought it back. So it's 1st and 10. They'll call it the 49 of Cal. And Kevin Riley, the sophomore from Beaverton, Oregon, comes back out. Look at the numbers. 4 of 9 for 33 yards. That's it. But you don't see an interception up there. Wave fake. Under pressure, stepping up, throwing on the run, just lofted it up there. Werner's got a great chance to make the pick. Can't hold on. Moran Tucker, the intended receiver, but Werner had a better shot at that ball. Our Pacific Life game summary. And the numbers offensively not looking good for either team. This block punt getting UCLA on the board. It was 7-3 at that point, and then Javid Best with a great run for the touchdown. Ball was tipped. That one picked off. Marcus Ezep bringing it back 69 yards, and Rick Neuheisel not pleased with his quarterback's play in the first half. 2nd and 10 from the 49. Short drop, quick throw. Sean Young on the catch to the 47 of UCLA. His first catch of the afternoon. The 6th-year senior and a guy who got to hand it to him for perseverance. Had the toe injury, the surgeries on it, and came back, got a 6th year, and here he is still playing.
And nice play by Al Werner. Coming up quickly, diagnosing that play. So important for cornerbacks to be able to make those plays in the open field, and Al Werner has been a highlight in the secondary for UCLA.
And the 4th quarter interception brought it all the way back for a touchdown last year to secure the victory in this matchup. Here come the Bruins on the blitz, and they get to Riley. Down he goes, Brian Price, the sophomore, who's going to be a great one on this defensive line.
Price has been nothing short of dominant at times. So quick, and he's got a great pad level, leverage, relentless in his pursuit of the quarterback. If you have a defensive tackle that can get involved in the pass rush, Bruins have 2 of them. That gives you a lot to work with up front.
You watch him move. He's 300 pounds, David.
Yeah, but he doesn't move like he's 300 pounds.
No. Brian Anger with the punt. Austin, the fair catch. Closely watched by 3 defenders at the 11. So UCLA takes over after the punt of 42 yards. It will be Kraft under center. The Life Sciences building here on campus in Berkeley. I'm going to be quiet so David can listen to the music right now. It's his thrill every week. Hear what music we play. 17-10, Cal with the lead. UCLA takes over 1st and 10 from their own 11. Under pressure is Kraft. He's going to go down. Tyson Alu at the 1. Brett Johnson was the first man in there to apply pressure, a loss of 9.
It's tough to move your quarterback, especially on a bootleg when you have pressure coming free, unblocked, off the edge. That is not a friendly sight for a quarterback. To come out blind, turn his eyes outside on the bootleg, and see Alu lowering the crown of his helmet.
Confidence-wise, and you're a former quarterback at UCLA. Kevin Kraft right now, look at what he's done in the last 2 games in the first half. No touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Last week was able to come back against Stanford, 2 long drives. We've seen him do it against Tennessee, too. Met right at the line of scrimmage and dumped right there Khalil Bell. Close to a safety. The Cal players motioning for that, but he got out of the end zone.
Yeah, he just barely got out of the end zone, and the Cal defense coming out with a couple statement plays here early in the second half. It's the same as breaking the plane on a touchdown. To avoid a safety, a running back has to break the plane out into the field of play. Bell just did avoid a safety. That was a heck of a play by Cameron Jordan, the defensive end.
And now Rick Neuheisel and Norm Chow, the offensive coordinator, are looking in 3rd and 20 from inside their own 1. What do you come up with here?
Well, and what you might want to do here is you might want to take a shot on a ball down the field over the top.
Short game by the offense. Half the distance to the goal, remains 3rd down.
So what do you lose, an inch?
Yeah. Well, you got the ball inside your own half-yard line.
There's only so much they can move that thing.
The execution penalty there is not going to hurt you much.
Offensive line giving up 15 sacks in the last 3 weeks and 2 today.
Now the story in the offseason, people talking about UCLA's prospects. The story was the offensive line. It still is.
Kraft in the shotgun. Taking his time. Bell out of the backfield gives him a little bit of room out to the 5, but well covered there. Sinquan Thompson.
The Bruins choosing to be conservative, create some breathing room for Perez, the punter. I'll tell you what, if you enjoyed punting, you're having a good time this afternoon watching these two punters perform.
Well, look at Rick, too, with Kraft. I mean, even when there's not much there, he's, shall we say, teaching when he comes off?
Yeah, teaching pretty aggressively.
Perez boots one. Thompson back at his own 40. Sid brings it back about 4 yards. That's it. 55-yard punt. And there's a flag as they rip the helmet off of Sinquan Thompson. A little extra by the Bruins at the end of the play. Well, you got two of the best punters in the Pac-10 with these two teams today.
After the play, personal foul, number 55 of the kicking team, 15 yards from the end of the run, first down.
And you get a big punt from Perez, 55-yarder. Another penalty, another mistake for the Bruins. And this will be a Cal Bears drive that starts on the positive side of the 50.
Corey Bosworth, the infraction. And there it is. Got to stop when the helmet's off.
You're watching ESPN College Football on ABC, presented by Best Buy. ESPN College Football on ABC, brought to you by, powered by Pontiac, official performance machines of the NCAA. Southwest Airlines, low fares, no hidden fees. And AT&T, your world delivered.
Back in Berkeley, Cal with a 17-10 lead over UCLA. They are honoring the 1959 team that went to the Rose Bowl. They're back here at Cal 50 years after it took place. Best spins away from one tackle, caught behind the line of scrimmage and a late flag. And I am standing with two people who actually took their teams to the Rose Bowl. David Norrie, as you know, quarterback of UCLA, and the legendary Joe Kapp, who is back on campus today. Great to have you here, and I know you don't like to hear that it's 50 years ago. I'm sure it seems like yesterday that you went to the Rose Bowl.
Well, I think the tone that's taken place with our get-together here, and it's great to see Coach Pete Elliott and all our teammates here. But one of our guys, Bob Speedy Gonzalez, is down fishing in Mexico or something. He says, I'll see you at the 75th.
I can't blame him.
What do you think about that year and that appearance in the Rose Bowl? What jumps out? What's your best memory?
Well, you know, we played one platoon football. You played offense and defense, and there's no team that was ever tougher than our team. Coach Pete Elliott had us ready to play, and we're probably the smallest team that ever played in the Rose Bowl, and they've all gone on to become we're watching the game here, but the doctors, the mayors, the farmers, educators, that's the kind of people that were on that team, and they're all successful.
Then you came back and coached here against this guy.
Well, David, we tried to get him to come, but he was, he liked that Hollywood down at.
He's a Hollywood guy.
No, the tradition between these two teams, Cal and UCLA, is obvious, and we're seeing it here today. It's a tough game for both teams, and we're going to win, though.
Not biased at all. 2nd and 24. Riley's going to run with it across to the 44, and there is a flag down, David.
Well, Coach, it had to be a real special feeling coming out of the tunnel down in Pasadena for that Rose Bowl game. What do you remember right before the game, coming out of the tunnel out onto the turf?
Well, you can't quite express it. College football, the essence of it is who you're playing with, the relationships you have that last a lifetime, and that's really sport. And football, you got offense, defense, kicking, and it's violent, it's brutal, you know.
It is.
And when you go through that kind of war and warfare, it lasts with you. And it stays with you forever.
And of course, you had a chance to take a great Vikings team to the Super Bowl back in 1971.
Well, that was another interesting trip. 40 for 60. We had our chance to be world champions there. Lost to Kansas City, but there again, and it just proves a point that good people, honest, hardworking, people that care about each other, that's what wins football. And you can't win without that. Maybe in other sports you got a home run hitter or you got a star, but I think in what I learned at playing for Coach Pete Elliott, Coach Pete Newell in basketball, is you're as strong as the weakest guy on your team. The last guy on the bench. In basketball, that's the spot I had for Coach Pete Newell, number 12 spot on the bench, and that makes everything better if your worst guy is
almost picked off. Raheem Moore had a chance after that ball was tipped. That's right. Pete Newell played for one of the legendary coaches in college basketball, too. Then you go on, you play in the CFL, the NFL, which launched an acting career, right?
Well, I was the coach, and a lot of people don't realize. Well, first of all, as an actor, I've been in the 5 worst pictures ever made. Okay, but the longest yard coach I coached, Bob Aldrich, the director. Just a great man, and we coached the convicts and the guards, and we just had a great time making that picture the longest yard.
Austin back deep's going to watch this one, settle in about the 13. Joe, thanks so much for coming by, and great to see you back here and all the guys. 50th anniversary of that Rose Bowl team.
Pleasure,
you, man.
Coach. Pleasure.
Appreciate it. Go Bears.
Back to Berkeley in just a moment. Tightwad Hill is packed today, as it should be on a gorgeous afternoon in the Bay Area. You can see out to the bay, across to San Francisco from up there. And you don't have to pay for a ticket either.
Got to pick a spot with some shade up there.
1st and 10 from the 15. Derek Coleman, the freshman, along the right side, falls ahead for a couple. That's about it. Now, if you're Rick Neuheisel, you thinking about what you're going to do at quarterback here?
Well, I think that Kevin Kraft still gives you the best chance to win. We talked about the comebacks, how he gets better as the game wears on, especially into the 4th quarter. The 3 interceptions loom large, but fortunately for Neuheisel, with Patrick Cowan and Ben Olsen, top 2 quarterbacks going down on consecutive plays in spring practice, there are not a lot of other options.
Second down, quick throw, complete to his tight end, Ryan Moya, but not much of a gain. We send it to Matt Weiner for an update. Matt?
All right, Terry, Florida was able to beat Kentucky for the 22nd straight time, and they're a nominee for our Pontiac game-changing performance with their special teams work. 2 blocked punts and a blocked field goal, all of which led to Gators scores in a huge 63-5 win. You can vote for the Pontiac game-changing performance starting tomorrow morning at 9 on ESPN.com.
Good day for Tebow. A couple of rushing touchdowns. 3rd and 9 for the Bruins.
Any day is a good day for Tebow.
Kraft lost it, picked it up, and he's got his man. It's the tight end Moya over the middle and a first down. Oh, you see that happen so often. A quarterback drop a ball or say, and everybody kind of relaxes for a moment. Quick strike over the middle for 18 yards.
I think that Kraft has done a nice job on some of these snaps from Dean. The snaps have not been up to par at times. And I think Kraft is at his best when he doesn't have to think much. He reacts to the football, boom, he picks up Moya with his vision down the field and delivers a strike. The tight end has been a big part of the UCLA offense throughout the year.
Yeah, Moya, second leading receiver for the Bruins, and had a big catch on that final drive last week against Stanford. Coleman bounces off a 1, wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage, though. Reminder, ABC Tuesday, 10/9 Central, and all-new Eli Stone, the one lawyer worth believing has a choice. Follow his visions to a history-making case or save the one person who trusts him the most. Johnny Lee Miller is ABC's Eli Stone, 10/9 Central. Coleman back in at tailback as they operate out of the eye. Shane Moline, the fullback. Nobody there on the play fake. world of room to run. Kraft across the 40 out to the 42. Mike Muhammad made the hit after a gain of 8. It was an odd-looking play from the start.
Well, and the one player that you don't account for defensively is the quarterback, especially when he's a drop-back passer. California surprised at times this afternoon when Rick Neuheisel's quarterback has escaped the pocket. Kevin Kraft can be very good with his feet when he's decisive and pulls the ball down, makes the decision quickly.
Moya, Embry, and Everett to the near side. There goes Ryan Moya in motion. Play fake, quick throw. He's got Embry. First down and more. Inside the 40 to the 39. The 5th catch of the afternoon for Embry, and now Kraft's starting to get hot.
On this offensive line for the first time this afternoon, putting jersey on jersey. Nice job of pass protection, and how about Embry's feel? Working in the voids against the zone secondary, and a nice job by Kevin Kraft getting that back foot set and delivering the ball on time.
Gain of 19, and they do have some good young receivers with Embry and Rosario. Play fake, plenty of time again. Kraft goes far sideline, tipped. Sidquan Thompson got a piece of it. Marcus Everett, the intended receiver.
That's kind of Kevin Kraft's season in a microcosm, Terry. He looks so good on one play, and then he forces a ball down the field with the safety coming over the top. I mean, that route was crowded. When you look at the pass chart today, he does most of his work in the short and intermediate zones. Beyond 15 yards, 3 for 5. He likes to work down the right sideline, but a lot of people that have watched the Bruins over the course of this season have talked about limited opportunities and limited times that they take shots down the field over the top.
Only bad things could have happened with that pass. Kraft looking to run, using his legs to get inside the 35, and then just drilled. But it's a gain of 5. Orel Williams in on the hit.
Orel Williams has been terrific at that inside linebacker position. Cal does a lot with him blitzing. He is a defensive player for Cal that really jumps out at you when you watch film. Kevin Kraft took a pretty big hit from Williams. The one thing you can say about Kevin Kraft is he does not shy away from contact. He is one of the tougher quarterbacks I've seen in the Pac-10 in a while.
Williams' brother plays on Sundays for the Broncos. 3rd and 5. Under pressure, Kraft gets away. Finds an open man. That's complete. Johnson with the catch inside the 20. They'll move the chains. 3rd catch for Dominique Johnson.
Now, we talked about Kevin Kraft and how he has not been very good moving in the pocket. Here he slides, and he makes Alu miss. This is more like it from Kevin Kraft. That's the way you slide in the pocket. You find some space, and he delivers the ball accurately.
What is it about the second half for Kraft?
I think if we knew, we'd bottle it.
1st and 10. He's going to throw again. Timing route out. Ooh, through the hands. Not of the intended receiver, but the defender. That was Darian Hagan. And that ball was delivered late and not in a good spot.
Darian Hagan had an opportunity to shut down this Bruin drive with an interception. And again, Kraft thought that he was trailing to the inside, but the recovery, watch Hagan spin out of it and get out underneath this route. And sometimes as a quarterback, a defensive back will bait you and fool you. And then when you release the football, boom, he's out underneath the route. That was an interception that Hagan probably should have come up with.
Low snap again. Kraft has to go down to get it. Speed to the outside. Thompson, no, won't let him get there. Sid with the stop at the 20.
Thompson is so valuable for the Bears in the return game. He's a lockdown man-to-man corner. And on this play, he shows you that he can be a terrific tackler in the open field. If Kevin Kraft gets outside at number 5, he's not only going to pick up the first down, but he's got a shot to score.
And Kraft having to go all over the place, up and down, left, right for the snaps.
And if you're Kevin Kraft here, Rick Neuheisel, his coach, is thinking, be secure with the football. You have 3 points in your back pocket.
Again, a low snap. Kraft recovers and throws high. Rosario couldn't get high enough. Cameron Jordan applying some pressure on Kevin Kraft. But when you're having to go left, right, all over the place, watch this happen.
Yeah, and Dean is not giving him much of a chance to get through his progressions early. As a quarterback, you don't want to be fixated visually on the snap every play. And Dean has been extremely erratic. You got to give Kraft a lot of credit just fielding some of those snaps in the shotgun.
Kai Forbath on from 37 yards. And good. So a significant drive for UCLA. And it's a 4-point game, but the defense for Cal stopping them and forcing the field goal. So on Saturday afternoon, it's Cal up by 4. Monday night, what lies ahead? We'll check in with Mike Tirico.
The Tennessee Titans, led by the powerful running duo of Chris Johnson and Lendale White, look to remain the last undefeated team in the NFL. They face off against Peyton Manning and the Colts in need of a big road win to turn their season around. It's Colts Titans at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN's Monday Night Football.
Isn't it odd to hear Mike say that? Peyton Manning and the Colts needing a road win to turn their season around?
Colts have been a puzzle. Last week they were controlled at Green Bay.
All right, Jeff Tedford, his offense about set to go back to work, and it has not been all that productive this afternoon against UCLA.
And Jeff Tedford has played his strongest card, and that has been pounding the ball at the UCLA defense. And he's really angled his game plan towards defense and special teams. And I think before this game is over, Kevin Riley is going to have to make some plays down the field in the passing game. Not a lot of production through the air for the Bears.
Or do you see Longshore?
That's always a possibility. I thought Longshore played very well through 3 quarters last week in Tucson.
Slocum and Ross back deep. Jeremy Ross from his own 5. Stopped dead in his tracks. Once he crossed the 20, we check in with John Saunders right now. John?
Well, Terry, Sports Center right now powered by Vizio. Graham Harrell and Texas Tech are going to be unbeaten when they face Texas next week on ABC in prime time. 5 touchdown passes for Harrell. That one to Michael Crabtree. And Tim Tebow ties Emmitt Smith for career rushing touchdowns at Florida with number 36, his 5th on the season as they blow out Kentucky.
So Texas, #1 team in the nation, had Oklahoma. They got Oklahoma State today, and next week Texas Tech. How do you like that for the meteor schedule? Best.
No rest for the weary.
First down run for a first down for Javid Best, a gain of 12. And there are the Longhorns at the top of the BCS, and you got those 4 teams from the Big 12 South in the top 8.
And before the end of this season, you're going to have some casualties, obviously, in the Big 12. USC has some concerns coming out of the Pac-10 with that 1 loss. Of course, Penn State, if they can win tonight against Ohio State, they have a terrific chance of going undefeated and getting into the national title game.
It is such a fine line between being in the national championship race and being out of the conference race. That's a lateral thrown backwards to Best. Alteron Werner with the stop, but if you're USC, you've got the 1 loss. Big test tonight, Arizona. You could drop that game and maybe be out of the Pac-10 race. You win that game, it might be your best chance at losing the rest of the way, and you're right in the national championship picture, depending on what happens to Penn State, what happens to Texas next week.
And I think maybe the biggest concern for USC is not only running the table, but the fact that Oklahoma was not dropped below them after the Sooners lost to Texas. That gives a 1-loss team the opportunity to potentially finish ahead of USC at the end of the season.
And the first week of the BCS standings coming out, there is a long way to go. When you think about what happened just in the last 2 weeks of the season last year.
Yeah, the shuffling was pronounced. Alabama, boy, the Crimson Tide faithful. How excited would they be if they could run the table and win the SEC championship game? I think the odds are against them, but you look at Oklahoma, the loss against Texas did not drop them below the Trojans. And then, of course, Texas playing lights out on offense. I don't know if there's a defense, Terry, in the country that's going to be able to stop Colt McCoy and that offense the way they're playing right now.
How about the non-BCS teams that have a chance?
Well, you look at Utah. Real disappointing loss for BYU, by the way, but against TCU. But you look at Utah as probably the team with the best chance, along with Boise State.
Win last night over San Jose. Reggie Carter, the man shaken up, and now on the sideline. Shane Vereen in at tailback, and here comes Kevin Riley. 2nd and 8 for the Cal Bears. Changing the play at the line. Looking to throw quickly, doesn't have a man. Now he does have a man. Inside the 40, inside the 35, Jeremy Ross, the sophomore from Sacramento, just broke into the clear.
This is a beautiful throw from Kevin Riley, and Riley was crowded in the pocket. A deep drop. He had to give Ross some time to clear. Watch the touch on this ball. Working against Raheem Moore, the free safety. Kevin Riley was one of the top quarterbacks, the highest of recruits coming out of Portland, Oregon. One of the Elite 11 at the camp. Finished that camp in the top 5. He has ability with his arm.
Bruins bringing numbers up to the line of scrimmage, trying to stop this man. Job at best. Good gain on first down. Gain of about 7.
You watch Job at best pound the turf after that run. He feels like he can take every run into space and maybe turn it into a touchdown. It is so much fun to watch him play tailback. As we talked about, Terry, there's so much offense for the Bears gets run through number 4.
14 carries, 95 yards for Best. We head to the 4th in Berkeley. Answer in 1977 when he was only 21 years of age, but certainly people are out here not just because of this game, but people still remember his play and what he meant to this university. You watched him growing up.
Oh yeah, growing up on the West Coast, and Joe Roth was a beautiful quarterback, the way he delivered the ball down the field. I remember Steve Rivera getting down the field at wide receiver, and his offense led the country in total offense that year, and took his team to the Pac-8 championship. Back then it was the Pac-8, but talk about a tragedy, and he was a very special individual. It's a real honor I know for you and me, Terry, to get to do that game 2 years in a row.
Yeah, we did it against USC last year. Best out of the backfield, fighting for a first down. First catch of the afternoon for Best. He shares the team lead coming in with Cameron Mora. Now, but the players, too, having a chance to talk to the players. Oftentimes when there is a quote-unquote memorial game or some type of team or player being honored, the current players might not know that much about it. Talking to them, they're well aware of Joe Roth and what this game means to the program.
Oh, there's definitely a reverence for number 12 over the years at Cal. He's a big part of the tradition and the history here, and deservedly so.
1st and 10. The offense moving now for the Bears. Quick pitch to Best. Here he comes. Looking for a seam. Flags on the play. Javid brings it down to the 11. We'll see if they bring this back.
Yeah, this looked like it was a blocking infraction on the edge against the Bears.
Holding, number 8 on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay first down.
Yeah, so Best, who averages about 7 yards per carry and over 100 yards a game, 2nd in the Pac-10. This one pulled these yards off of his total coming back.
Well, he frees it right there. That's Nyan Boateng right here getting called for the hold. And he has had a nice year blocking at the wide receiver spot. Got a knockout block last week on the 67-yard touchdown run by Javid Best against Arizona.
Vereen gets the carry, comes this way, around the edge, wrapped up. Nice tackle by Michael Norris, the cornerback for the Bruins. Yeah, if you're a defender, you see that single digit on Nyan Boateng's jersey, 8, might be a bit misleading because he's coming after you. You know, he doesn't play like a wideout in terms of blocks.
Yeah, he'll put you on your back in a hurry, and he has the speed to get there. You know, this group of wide receivers, with the loss of Jackson and Hawkins, of course Jordan, 3 seasoned and talented wide receivers off of last year. This group has been stepping up.
2nd and 11. Wiley looking for room, just going to throw this one away. Vereen never got outside. Not sure if they were trying to set up a screen there, but he couldn't get out. Go ahead. You do this promo. You're the NASCAR guy.
Well, we're talking about Atlanta. Race 7 of the Chase tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Time.
And who leads the chase?
On high def, ABC, Jimmy Johnson leads. And I think he's going to continue to lead.
Coverage kicking off with NASCAR Countdown. 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. out here on the West Coast. Again, you go out on a limb with your predictions.
Well, safety in numbers.
Jimmy Johnson's going to continue to lead. He's ahead of the pack. Way ahead. 3rd and 11. Under pressure. Gets hit as he throws. No chance. This one out of the end zone. Might take some time for Riley to get up. Reggie Carter, remember he was injured on a couple of plays ago. He came back in to apply the hit. He and Bosworth. So on comes Giorgio Tavecchio, the man from Milan, Italy. Hit one from 26 yards earlier in the game. This one from 42 yards last week. He's come on in general for the injured David Seawright. His first try was from 50 yards. He had the length, but he missed it wide. Came back to hit 2 other ones after that.
You can't help but think that Giorgio from time to time takes the BART across to the city and enjoys some of the great Italian food in the city. San Francisco, North Beach.
Jerry and the Dead bringing us back with a look at San Francisco. By the way, isn't there a Ben and Jerry's at that corner in Haight-Ashbury now?
Yeah, there is. And I think it's appropriate time to say that you go with a little touch of gray there, Terry.
What is? Excuse me? I'm going to have to use some dye. Tavecchio on for the 42-yarder. Got the distance. Got it through the uprights. Giorgio. Yeah, they shoot the cannon here. Look at him. Every person you talk to here said this guy is just a guy who brings everybody up.
Jeff Tedford lights up when you bring up Giorgio's name. Bellissimo. He has been solid. And what a comfort. What a luxury to have a place kicker that steps in for your starter and operates at the level that Giorgio has been operating.
The man from Milan kicking here in a stadium that was fashioned after the Colosseum in Rome back in 1923.
And Rick Neuheisel, as we're going to the Pack Life game summary here, Rick Neuheisel talked about secret here at Cal. Keep that cannon from going off. 7-point lead for the Bears. Best having his customary high production Saturday. Ezef with the touchdown return. Big pick for 6.
Rick as a player never lost to Cal. Had that long winning streak. UCLA did, and he came on as a junior and threw 1 pass in the game. It was a touchdown pass, I think 75 yards.
A long touchdown pass to Dokie Williams. Rick was the 2nd stringer. I happened to be the 3rd stringer in that game, and that was a big play. And of course, Rick's senior year, MVP of the Rose Bowl. Had a big win against Cal down at the Rose Bowl late that year.
Austin from his own 10 this time. Had a steam out to the 27. That's where the offense will start. So Cal with the 20-13 lead. Rick Neuheisel, another guy who took his team to a Rose Bowl. In fact, was the MVP against the Illini that year, 1984.
4 touchdowns. Team led 39-3 over one of the top defensive units in the country. He didn't even see action in the fourth quarter of this game. He was brilliant. One of the bigger days that a quarterback has ever had in the Granddaddy.
22 of 31, 298 yards and 4 touchdowns. 1st and 10, UCLA. Quick throw. Embry at the line of scrimmage across the 30. Taylor Embry, the freshman from Overland Park, Kansas. Got 6 catches today.
You take a look at Rick Neuheisel, and you'd be remiss not to mention his family. Dick and Jane, the parents who played a big role in his life. He's got a great support group. 3 sisters, Nancy, Kate, Debbie. The Neuheisel family always on the road, always following Rick, and it has not been easy sledding over the last 5 or 6 years for the Neuheisels, and it's been nice to see him get another opportunity, especially at his alma mater.
Yeah, that's got to be the special part about it. On the run, Kraft completes it for a 1st down. Out near the 45-yard line to Nelson Rosario. We send it to Matt Weiner.
All right, Terry, Texas Tech quarterback Graham Harrell had a very brief and productive day in Lawrence, Kansas, and he's our nominee for the AT&T ESPN All-America Player of the Week after 386 yards passing, 5 touchdowns through the air and another on the ground. To cast your vote, text the word VOTE to 51234 on your AT&T wireless phone.
Quarterbacks haven't had quite that kind of day. Either team, but Kraft getting better here in the second half. Led them on that drive to put 3 on the board last time. Here he is. Straight drop, throws it over the middle and overthrows his intended receiver Everett high into the air. But again, UCLA's quarterback putting them in a tough spot where something really bad could happen.
Well, and we've talked about Kraft. He takes some chances with the football, and when he lacks accuracy, he does put his team in difficult spots. And this is a throw that could easily be picked off by a deep safety. He has his offensive coordinator, Norm Chow, holding his breath at times throughout the afternoon on Sundays.
You mean watching the tape?
Prior to the snap, delay of game by the offense. 5-yard penalty, remains 2nd down.
Yeah, watching him in the pocket.
Saturdays.
Oh, did I not say Saturdays?
You're thinking ahead, or thinking to the past with Norm Chow, the NFL.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant Saturdays.
No need to apologize. Just pointing it out. Going to stay up here this week? We're back here next week.
Absolutely. With this weather, why would you want to go anywhere else?
At Oregon, the Ducks coming to town next week to take on Cal. And UCLA with a bye. Alu bringing down Kraft again. Well, when he fires off the line of scrimmage, nobody's going to stop him.
Now, Alu is a load to handle for an offensive line. And watch the intensity that he brings to the pass rush. And how many times do you watch a defensive tackle start in a 2-point stance? Combination of power and quickness. He's a high motor kind of player.
Tyson married, couple of kids, taking care of business here on the defensive line. 3rd and 23. Kraft hit as he throws. Could be picked off, incomplete. Sidquan Thompson was there. Pretty nice play, actually, by the receiver to break that up. And Kevin Kraft holding that right arm.
Well, Zach Follett, the outside linebacker, just drove the tackle right back in to Kraft. That was Mike Harris. And Follett just absolutely manhandled Harris.
Dominique Johnson, the intended receiver, did a nice job breaking that up. This is a fake, and it's wide open. Trying to fight to get to the 1st down. I don't think he made it. It's going to be short. Courtney Viney, the man with the catch, and he couldn't get to the marker. So it's successful on one hand, but not on the other. They come up short.
And Perez, if he can get the ball outside a bit quicker and a little more velocity on the football, Viney picks up the first down. Nice job by the Bears reacting.
You're watching ESPN College Football on ABC, presented by Best Buy. ESPN College Football on ABC, brought to you by Best Buy, you happier. Allstate, proud sponsors of college football. Are you in good hands? And Olive Garden, when you're here, your family.
See, the guy's got the Disney sign in there. Nice little cross promotion. 2013, Cal up. Just under 10 minutes here in the fourth. Rick Neuheisel not afraid to roll the dice. We saw him do it earlier in the season. He just did it now and comes up short on the fake punt. So it's 1st and 10 from the 47. Best going to come back to his quarterback. Riley looking long. Got a man. Touchdown. Nyan Boateng. 53 yards. He not only throws some blocks, he can run as well. Nyan Boateng with his 3rd touchdown catch of the year.
This is a terrific call by Frank Cignetti, the offensive coordinator. Dials up the flicker. Great throw by Riley, and Boateng adjusting to the football. I think they're going to go upstairs potentially here for another look to see if this was a touchdown. A great concentration by number 8. Lockett bearing down on him, the strong safety. A big play at a big time for the Bears.
And you know what? You spend an entire game setting up a play like that with Best running in your ground game, and he gets the ball. You come back to your quarterback, and the defense has no chance.
And who better to set it up than Jahvid Best? The threat that he presents on each play, whether he's carrying the football or catching it out of the backfield. You got to give Coach Cignetti a lot of credit.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
Yeah, it looked like he had broken the plane when he touched the ground.
And Jeff Tedford has to really be excited because at times his team has dominated this football game. UCLA's been able to maintain contact. And that's the type of play that's really going to put a lot of pressure on the Bruins with just under 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, they had yet to put the Bruins away. And now Tavecchio on for the extra point. Straight on through. 27-13. Play that started with Riley. Involved Best. Back to Riley and ended up with Boateng.
You're watching ESPN College Football on ABC, presented by Best Buy.
Here in Berkeley in the fourth quarter. Pac-10 race with Cal up 27-13. Cal looking to move to 3-1 in Pac-10 play. And UCLA with that bye next week. This would be a big road win for them. But they need a comeback here with just 9:48 left. Vecchio going to send Austin back to his own 2-yard line. Terrence, well covered. Brought down at the 15. Can't get outside. Take a look at that last play and watch the free safety bite on this, David.
That's right. And the flea flicker action is designed to make the free safety bite. That's Raheem Moore right here. And Boateng's going to stutter, and then he's going to run right by him. Lockett is not going to be able to make the recovery to help his free safety out from the strong safety spot. Boateng has to wait on the ball for just a half step. But that is a solid throw from Riley. making sure that he doesn't overthrow a wide open receiver down the field. Riley can finally celebrate.
And now it's Kevin Kraft's turn. This one batted down. He swats it down. I would too if I had Alu right in front of me.
Alu has had quite an afternoon. And when you play in a 3-4, you really have a premium. Jeff Tedford, 3 premium players up front in that 3-4, playing the defensive line positions. And look at the big plays. 69-yard interception return, the flea flicker, and of course, pretty darn good touchdown run by Job at best.
As good as you're going to see. Bell did a nice job picking up that blitz, throwing a block, but they're going to whistle this one dead. Kraft has spent a good part of this second half in that position. Was holding that right arm when he came off the last time.
Timeout charge to California prior to the snap. Will the timer please reset the game clock to 9 minutes and 41 seconds? Thank you.
Down to one timeout. Remember, they burned one on the field goal try, too. Cal defense back onto the field. And Kevin Kraft looked like that right arm may have gotten a bit of a cut that last time. They bandaged it up. Back out there, 2nd and 10. But you've got just 9:41 left in this one, David.
I think that cut came to the elbow when Zach Follett in the last possession drove the right tackle, Mike Harris, back into Kraft.
Quick throw. That one could have been picked off. Almost was twice, actually. Darren Hagan, the first guy, and then Mike Mohammed had a chance as it was batted straight up into the air.
I think Kevin Kraft has been pretty fortunate throughout the course of the season on dangerous balls, not having them picked off. This could easily be a turnover that might salt the game away for Cal. Rick Neuheisel has been working with him, as has the offensive coordinator Norm Chow, on getting off covered receivers, moving on in your progression, finding open receivers, and not forcing the football. And Kevin Kraft still does not get that at this point of his career.
Movement left side of the line. Well, those tight close-ups we had of Kraft and then Neuheisel.
Prior to the delay of game, false start, number 73 on the offense. 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
Yeah, Brian O'Kane having a good time out there this afternoon. Enjoying himself. Not Rick Neuheisel, though. Those looks of frustration. You saw it in the quarterback's face, even getting the play in from the sideline. And then Rick on the sideline. 10 penalties, 74 yards. Here comes the crowd on 3rd and 15. Here comes the blitz. They pick it up. Picked off. Mohammed. Mike's going to bring it back to the corner. Touchdown. Not sure Kevin Kraft wants to come to the sideline right now. No coaching going on yet. 4 UCLA turnovers.
Well, this is a dump pass to Bell that was just overthrown. Not a very good ball at all. Thrown over Bell's head, and Mohammed doing a nice job of sitting at home. Defenders are learning to just play the football against Kevin Kraft. They know that the misfires are coming. And the Bears have done a terrific job in the secondary of playing his mistakes.
Well, almost every one, and maybe everyone, I have to think, of those interceptions were tipped initially by his own receiver.
And that is always on the quarterback. You can't say, oh, that wasn't on the quarterback because the ball was tipped. You're taught as a quarterback to beat the defenders. And if they can get a hand on a ball, it's on you.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Touchdown.
That was a terrific return, by the way, by Muhammad to get the corner, to get inside the pylon.
Well, this is a guy who does not start. Doesn't run out there first play, but he plays most of the game, and he has a huge impact. Muhammad, you think about those linebackers, Muhammad, Zach Follett, Orel Williams. It's a good group.
Well, they're really thriving in Bob Gregory's 3-4 scheme.
Vecchio on again. It's been an active afternoon for him. And good once again. Just like that, Cal is pretty close to put this one away, unless Kevin Kraft can turn it around dramatically.
Look at Kevin Kraft throughout the course of the afternoon. You got to give Cal a lot of credit. Underneath defenders, getting out underneath routes, as you said, Terry, getting their hands on balls, deflections, and then the second line of defense. Cornerbacks playing deep, safeties, linebackers like Muhammad doing a great job. Hand-eye coordination, playing the deflections, playing the balls in the air, and I think it's safe to say that we're going to get a dose of Forcier, the backup quarterback, here in the fourth quarter.
Who came on earlier in this game for one play, threw a nice pass. He had a receiver right in the hands, and it was dropped. So he's 0 for 1, 0 for 2 on the year. Ball that should have been caught. And Austin getting used to being in that position, returning kicks after touchdowns by Cal now. Parents from his own 5. Out to the 21. So 1st and 10. See if Forcier does come out for Rick Neuheisel. Don't forget ESPN, ESPN2. A couple of primetime matchups. We've got Alabama, number 2, on the road at Tennessee. That's at 4:45 Pacific time. Then the Irish on the road at Washington at 5 o'clock Pacific time tonight. College football primetime presented by Hampton Hotels. Nope, going to be Kevin Kraft. So Kraft back out to run the offense.
Usually when you see the backup put his helmet on, it's an indication.
Unger throws Dominique Johnson. Get him on the short hop, and right now it's odd to watch Kevin Kraft because it looked early in the second half like he had some rhythm, some confidence. Had that long drive down, and the last 2 drives, whether it's the pressure defensively or whatnot, it's gone. 2nd and 10. Quick throw, complete to Johnson, wrapped up. As soon as he makes the catch, though, Saquon Thompson, good coverage.
Well, and you have to be careful because it isn't always on the quarterback. There are 11 players out on the field on offense. You know, the guys on the other side of the line of scrimmage have scholarships too, but Kevin Kraft, his accuracy is what really has been the problem this afternoon at times.
3 for his last 11 and threw that a little bit early. Ryan Moya had it there, but he hadn't yet turned.
And what's so perplexing, so tantalizing for Rick Neuheisel and his offensive coordinator Norm Chow is they see glimpses. I mean, they watched the drive at the end of the Stanford game last week. They see the comeback against Tennessee. And Terry, they see him on select balls down the field being very accurate and making nice plays. And then, you know, the very next snap, he's going to give you an ugly throw.
Rez. Saquon steps out of bounds at the 28. But isn't that what being a quarterback is all about? You can show glimpses, but unless you do it consistently and run an offense, you're not going to get much done. I want to break with a little Sopranos music. 10 matchup. Think about the success that he's had, not only here with the 5 straight bowl games heading to another, maybe a Pac-10 championship this year, and turning things around at Cal. 50 wins in the 6 years that he's been here, 18 wins in the 6 prior years. But also, how about the quarterbacks that he's had throughout the years? Not necessarily here, but in his career.
Well, it says a lot about his offensive capabilities as a coach, as well as his background as a quarterback and his ability to impart that knowledge on the quarterbacks that he's had over the years.
Best breaking outside has a first down across the 40. Good block from Will Taforu, the fullback. Look at some of the names that he's been able to lead.
Now, David Carr, of course, the great senior season at Fresno State, and Trent Dilfer, a top 6 pick in the draft. Joey Harrington took his team to a BCS game. Kyle Bowler and Aaron Rodgers, 2 quarterbacks that are figuring very prominently on Sundays. Terry?
Harrington's got a pretty good cousin as a golfer, too. Padraig. There was a time when everybody talked to Padraig about Joey Harrington being a star when he'd come over here to play, and now it's the other way around.
Talking to Joey about Padraig.
Best couple of yards on the right side. So they're going to keep it on the ground right now and try to burn some of this clock. And why not? You're moving the football with that ground game.
And when you visit with Jeff Tedford, you know, he is, first of all, he's such a class act. And the way he's turned this program around, his team is an exciting team to watch week in and week out. He's had his team squarely in the middle of Pac-10 races year after year in November. Now, the one hurdle I think Jeff Tedford and his Cal program have to get over is they've got to beat USC, and they've been there. You know, the last 2 years they've been there in the fourth quarter. They just have not gotten over the mountain.
Have been able to run the football against the Trojans, though. Vereen this time. Gain of about a yard. You look at Tedford twice being named Pac-10 Coach of the Year. 6 straight years, as we said, with a 1,000-yard rusher. Javid Best headed toward that this year. He's got 115 yards in this game already. Little technique he's teaching.
Jeff Tedford, the best coaches are all teachers. And while Jeff Tedford is a terrific head coach, he's always a teacher and an assistant coach at heart. And he's one of the guys that just doesn't sit back there and watch his assistants work. He gets involved.
Riley out of the gun, throws out to Ross. Sidesteps one, fights his way to a first down, then pays for it, but he does get to the marker. 3rd catch for Jeremy Ross, and they'll move the chains.
And you look at the schedule for California. This was really a must-win. And they came into this game as a little bit more than a 2-touchdown favorite, but Terry, we get the game next week here at Berkeley. Oregon Ducks coming down from Eugene to play here at Cal, and then the big game is November 8th at USC. 15th of November, Cal has to get right back on the road and head up to Corvallis.
Ducks with Arizona State tonight. Here comes Ross coming back this way. Flag on the play. Look at Jeremy. Holy cow. And we've seen guys jump over defenders. We saw Javid Best do it earlier today a little bit, but not when they're standing straight up in the air.
Yeah, we've seen Noshawn Moreno, the tailback for Georgia, in the open field make this type of move.
Number 13 on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay first down.
Raheem Moore standing straight up. Watch this.
Yeah, 3 over the top of 3. This play's going to come back, but it doesn't make it any less enjoyable to watch. Wow. I think another thing you can safely say about Jeff Tedford year in and year out, he has never been at a shortage for skill athletes on the outside, Terry.
Might be young at the wideout spot this year, trying to place 3 good ones, but it was a penalty actually on Riley for the block in the back, bringing that one. And that's one that Jeremy Ross can say, hey, are you kidding me? That's a highlight reel thing. You're bringing it back. Vereen changes direction back to the original line of scrimmage. Raheem Moore with the tackle that time. Nobody jumped over him. You look at Cal's remaining schedule with Oregon coming to town next week, and then that matchup November 8th at USC. A couple of ats in a row.
Yeah, these 4 games, not an easy one in the bunch.
And ending up December 6th. So, but nobody's got an easy road. So everybody's got the same type road. And right now, with 1 loss in the conference, looking as good as anyone.
I guess you could say that with 5 teams tied atop the conference with only 1 loss.
Incomplete, trying to get it to his fullback out of the backfield. But obviously, And coaches will admit this, and did in the media this week, saying even among those one-loss teams, USC certainly with the most talent, best chance of getting to the Rose Bowl, getting to a Pac-10 title, and maybe even a national championship matchup. But we've seen the Trojans, when they stumble, it's usually on the road in conference play.
Well, and Arizona has played the Trojans tough over the last couple years, especially down in Tucson. They have given Pete Carroll and his talented team some problems. All you have to do is look back a couple years ago. Arizona had a lead in the fourth quarter.
Got a man open, it's Ross. Nope, can't hang on. Well, he got behind the secondary again. And defensive backs talking to each other saying, hey, I thought you had him. No, I thought you had him.
Kevin Riley's going to look back on that throw. As a quarterback, you're happy with the win, but also you look back at some of the opportunities that you miss in a game, and he had Ross running free down the right sideline. And Kevin Riley, a real strength of his is the deep ball. He throws the deep ball pretty well and missed a shot on that play.
Anger on. Austin back. Can't stop it. Into the end zone, out to the 20. Think back to the decision to start Kevin Riley, and for a while in the first half, you and I wondered, do you go to Longshore? Nothing's happening offensively, but the people here have been on the side, the fans for the most part, of Kevin Riley, wanting to see him start.
Well, Nate Longshore, and I've said it a couple times earlier, I thought he played extremely well against Arizona. Kevin Riley gives you a different kind of threat with his legs, but also very capable throwing the football. I don't think Jeff Tedford can go wrong with either one of these athletes in the game. And you know, when you're a sophomore, you have an advantage because, you know, if you're the younger guy and it's a judgment call, oftentimes you're going to play for the future.
Neuheisel does make a move, goes to Chris Forcier and throws into traffic this time. Austin was there, but that could have been picked off once it was tipped. So the numbers, Longshore 1-1 as a starter. Started the last two games.
Yeah, he did. And I thought he played pretty well. Kevin Riley got the starting assignment coming out of fall based on his combination of run-pass threat. Longshore won the job back because of problems with accuracy and slow starts in games.
Forcier can run. That's the option he gives you, and gets a couple yards short of a first down, a gain of 7.
Forcier is a quarterback that people are going to know about down the line in Westwood. He has a true ability to threaten defenses with a burst, acceleration. I think he's got some pass capabilities as well that he needs to develop.
And whether it's Kraft or it's Forcier, there's another low snap and a high throw. That's a combination we've seen a lot of. You see that armband on Rick Neuheisel. Jeff Tedford's got one too. It's raising awareness and money for muscular dystrophy today. A lot of coaches wearing those. All right, so Forcier now gets a little taste of that as he comes over.
That's right. You know, accuracy was a hallmark for Rick Neuheisel. He completed over 69% of his balls as a senior, and it's tough to watch his quarterbacks play at a lesser level.
Saquon looking for room. Not much there. Out to the 32. Talking about Cal trying to get back to the Rose Bowl, and it has been quite a long time. 1959. Talked to Joe Kapp. They're back honoring that team today, but they've gone 8 times. UCLA 12 times, and their last in 1999. Arizona, the only team that has yet to make an appearance.
California, you talk about a dry spell. Late 50s, going back a half century.
It's not easy to win a Pac-10 title, you know.
Arizona's been stoned. Late 70s, not been to one Rose Bowl. And the Wildcats will get a visit to Pasadena.
Shane Vereen. Wonder if we'll see David Best the rest of the way. I doubt it. Vereen, the freshman from Valencia. Another reminder on ABC Thursday at 10/9 Central, an all-new Life on Mars. Next Great Cop Show has arrived. Michael Imperioli, Harvey Keitel. Right after an all-new Grey's Anatomy. Imperioli you mentioned earlier, but how about Harvey Keitel, part of that cast?
Gretchen Mol. Love Harvey Keitel, one of my favorite actors. I don't know when he played the Wolf.
You mentioned Reservoir Dogs.
Pulp Fiction.
That's what I was going to say. Then Pulp Fiction was the last in that genre. There goes Vereen. He could go. Werner, the guy trying to catch him. Hesitates. Can't get there. Alteron makes the tackle. So they take out number 4. They put in number 34, but the results are the same. A gain of 56.
Now Vereen, much like Job at best, you get him in space, you can set it and forget it. He has the kind of speed. The defenses cannot ignore their pursuit angles. We mentioned, Terry, coming into this game, look at those rushing numbers for Best and Vereen. 4 touchdown runs by Vereen and Best of 67 yards or longer coming into this game.
Two backs over 100 yards in this game alone. There goes Vereen to the line of scrimmage. May have gotten there. Brian Price on the tackle. Reason to smile over on the sideline if you're Cal. Now you think about those runs, the long bursts, and you got to have an offensive line to do it for you. And we mentioned one of our impact players to start out, Alex Mack, the senior from Santa Barbara, and one of the best centers in the country, and a guy who leads the way in the run game for Cal.
I think coaches like to talk about leadership and who their leaders are. I think Mack is one of the best leaders, not only on this Cal team, but for any team across the country, on the field and off.
Riley throws to the end zone. It's a touchdown. Cameron Mora. Right in front of Brett Lockett. And Mora, another guy who gives you a lot at that tight end position. I mean, he's got some size, but he can get up and down the field. He's got the speed, got the great hands. 6th touchdown catch of the year for him.
He's a proverbial matchup problem for an outside linebacker or a safety. Terrific threat.
Giorgio's on for another one.
And to think this was a 1-touchdown game earlier in the quarter. Number 5. Nice combination of speed and size. Excellent route runner. Very strong with his hands.
And you're right. Think about that. We talk about a fine line between maybe a great season and a so-so season. How about in one game, the fake punt? If they pick that up and they were about a yard shy, this could be, probably would be, an entirely different game right now.
Well, and coaches like to look back on football games and say there are 5, 6, maybe 7 plays that games are decided on. That was certainly a key play, but give Cal a lot of credit. They are they're a lot like walking around with a hand grenade in your pocket. They're liable to go off at any time, and they can do it offensively, defensively, or in the special teams department. And Jeff Tedford has to love his ability to score at any time.
Working on that Gatorade on the sideline, isn't he? It's a hot day here.
He's well equipped over there. He's got the Gatorade. He's got the plays on the armband.
He's got people. He had his people right there with a whole 6-pack of the Gatorade.
He's got that Cal baseball hat and the sunglasses. Huh? I wonder if he's got a sunglass contract.
I think I'd move the sideline if I'm the home team to this side in the shade. Right into the sun the whole time. We do get the cameras out of order. Austin breaking out. Terrence cross midfield. Austin foot race. Pushed out of bounds. All right, so the Bruins have some life. Not going to quit, at least, with 1:40.
Jesse Brooks, number 20, just gets a piece of Austin. But this return is taken all the way back. Terrence Austin has had such a big year as a return man. We talked about his prowess. Got a return for kickoff return yardage against Fresno State. Had a 100-yarder called back in that game. Acceleration. Nice effort by Brooks to get back and avoid the touchdown return.
82-yard return, so it's first and goal inside the 10. Forcier throws incomplete. Timing not there with Dominique Johnson.
Alu again.
So 1:37 left, and what was a very good, very competitive game short time ago, it seems, has turned into a rout in favor of Cal. Terry Gannon along with David Norrie here in the Bay Area. Beautiful afternoon as we close out what will be another win for Cal and a loss for UCLA. Turnover's a big part of this game. First play from scrimmage. Kevin Kraft threw an interception, and Cal able to get 3 on the board. This ball up in the air, and Johnson comes down with a touchdown. Forcier able to throw it up where his receiver had a chance, and Dominique Johnson, who goes 6'3", went high into the air.
I tell you, that is a big thrill when you hook up on your first career touchdown pass. Like Nabufe was beaten to the corner. Dominique Johnson, very potent weapon. He's been inconsistent. He's been hot and cold, but he is a weapon down in the red zone, and a pretty nice ball from Forcier.
Forbath on for the extra point. So the 82-yard kickoff return coming back. Now you know him well. Rick's still not pleased?
No, he's not 100% pleased.
Look at him.
He's talking. He's talking to Forcier about the drive, not just about the touchdown pass. You know, Rick Neuheisel is always looking to coach his quarterbacks very hard and get them ready for the toughest situations, and I think he's happy to see Forcier hit that touchdown ball to Johnson on the fade route, but he's also going back to other plays earlier in the drive and teaching. It might have been pass interference on Nabufe. Dominique Johnson with nice size and a very good receiver when you're utilizing those routes, especially the fades down near the goal line.
Now when they tee it up again, and it will be November 8th against Oregon State, does Rick Neuheisel make a decision in terms of his quarterbacks?
Well, I think Rick Neuheisel and Norm Chow are the only ones that can answer that question.
Would you?
Well, I think that Forcier gives you some gifts and some threats at the quarterback position that you don't have with Kevin Kraft. But then again, you know, both of these quarterbacks are going to be around for a while. Kevin Kraft is a junior. Forcier is a redshirt freshman. And you can't lose sight of next year as you coach these two quarterbacks. Kraft gives you so much at times that it's tough to ignore his potential. And then he mixes in some really ugly plays. And you know, if he continues to make those mistakes, Terry, I think that Rick Neuheisel may be forced to go with Forcier.
Yep. Cal lining up as if it's going to be an onside kick. So is UCLA with 1:33. Here we have it. Recovered by the Golden Bears. So they take over at the 47 of the Bruins. Our Chevrolet players of the game, Corey Bosworth, going with the defensive guys, if that's okay with you. I know you're quarterback, you're offensive minded, you're offensive at times, but it's Corey Bosworth, 7 tackles, 2 sacks, and Marcus Esef with the 2 interceptions, one that he brought back 69 yards for a touchdown. Yes, sir.
That's a cheap shot. Yeah, they call that a Sunday punch. When you do that inside 2 minutes to go, you know I have limited time for a comeback.
In recognition of their efforts, you got no time. Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. All right, the stage is yours.
Yeah, you take a shot at me, and then you start giving out the players of the game and reading the closing credits. Thanks a lot, Terry.
Won't be the last time.
I think the California Bears are right in the thick of this Pac-10 race because of their balance, Terry. And I think they have as good a shot as anybody outside USC to win the conference title.
We update those standings. UCLA drops to a game under 500 in conference play. Cal's right there, 3-1.
That's going to be a great game tonight to watch down in Tucson. Arizona with their playmakers, Terry. You know, we talk about the talent for USC, but the playmakers, you know, Mike Thomas
and
Antolin.
More, I was going to say, Keola Antolin last week emerged, and a guy who you didn't even really know about prior to last week.
And you watch him play a week ago and you go, wow. I know the California Bears were surprised when number 2 got in the lineup. Explosive. They also got Willie Tuatama, the quarterback that can threaten you throwing the ball as well as getting outside and picking up yards on the ground. And then you got one of the best tight ends in the country in Rob Gronkowski. A lot for the Trojans to worry about tonight defensively.
You know what they have? They have a healthy quarterback and a ground game. And how many teams in the Pac-10 can you say that about? Think about all the teams in the Pac-10 that have lost their quarterback, or their second quarterback, or their third quarterback this year.
I think that's a reason why, you know, you have to consider USC the favorite to win the conference, but I think that's a reason why Cal's going to be in the thick of this race into November, because they have 2 healthy quarterbacks, 2 quarterbacks that have talent and experience, and then a running game that can be extremely potent. We talked about the balance defensively and special teams for Cal. All 3 units.
Saw Nate Longshore on the sideline. Best with another great day. Bringing it this way inside the 30. It's Tracy Slocum with a nice run. All right, so we won't just talk about Best and Shane Vereen. We'll throw Tracy Slocum in there too, who's been a dependable runner this year for them. Just a sophomore from Fresno. Oh, there's that view from Mr. Norrie's rooftop out to the bay, Golden Gate Bridge. Just a few moments from that rooftop, I think, for the crew here.
Come on over, Terry.
Minute left.
Come on over after the game. We'll throw on a little Grateful Dead. Celebrate a beautiful afternoon.
Don't have to twist my arm on that. And UCLA taking another timeout. The crowd here, they've booed every time they've taken one in the last few minutes. 21-point lead. Don't forget the action Monday night in the AFC South. Showdown between the Colts looking to get back on track and the Tennessee Titans. 8:30 Eastern time is your game. Kicking off with Monday Night Countdown. 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific. Delivered by UPS.
Who would have thought coming into the season, NFL, the Titans would be the last undefeated team standing?
I did. I predicted that, by the way. I was the one guy who predicted that.
I wasn't around when you made that prediction.
Yeah, you usually are not. Saw it when the Bears took care of the Colts that first week. 1st and 10. The Golden Bears this time. Slocum using his body. Not only has some speed, but delivered a little punch at the end of that run.
Slocum's going to get limited opportunities. I mean, look at these 3 backs for Cal statistically. All of them average 5 yards or more per carry. And that's really the problem. I mean, the Cal Bears are averaging 5.5 yards per carry. You look at the UCLA Bruins, they average half of that. Just under 3 yards a carry, 2.8. You're not going to win games consistently when you're getting out-muscled offensively and defensively on the ground.
Yeah, the guys on that offensive line for Cal, we talked about Mack, but Norris Malele, Chet Diafilo, Mark Boscovich, Mitchell Schwartz. Across the line, getting it done today for Jeff Tedford. And no more timeouts for UCLA. That will do it here in Berkeley. The Bears moving to 5-2 on the year, 3-1 in Pac-10 play. And an impressive win. Kevin Kraft struggles today from the get-go. First play from scrimmage was an interception, and it set the tone. 41-20 is your final score. David, it has been an absolute pleasure, sir.
I look forward to next week
when the Ducks come to town to take on Cal. See you next week. 41-20, your final. Make sure you join us tonight 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific. Big Ten primetime matchup and a good one. Number 3, Penn State taking on number 9, Ohio State. See you next week from Berkeley, everybody. Another Pac-10 matchup for David Norrie, our entire crew. I'm Terry Gannon. Cal with another win. So long from Berkeley, California on a gorgeous Saturday afternoon.